Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seat. The show is about to begin.
Presented by Front Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon. Joined as always by my wildly handsome co-host, John Luke Garofalo. Our friend Coop with us, aka Coop A. Fiasco. What's up, everyone? Welcome into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show. It is February 6th, 2023, Monday morning after the Pro Bowl. It is Super Bowl week officially, baby. I'm your host, Simon, joined by my co-hosts, John Luke Garofalo and Andrew Cooper. What's up, boys?
What up?
I do.
What's
up, dude?
You guys have an all right weekend?
Yeah. My weekend was fantastic. How was your weekend?
Pretty good. I was recovering from a bit of a sickness, but I got some rest in. I was telling you guys right before the show, played an absurd amount of Cuphead yesterday with my girlfriend. We downloaded that game last week, hadn't been able to play much during the weekend. It is the most fun and the most frustrating game I've ever played in my entire life. It was a day where, like, the mantra of yesterday was positive attitude, positive attitude. We had to set a rule, like, if you're gonna scream the F word, scream something silly instead to try to keep like the mood up in the room, because if we get too mad, it just turns full tilt.
Yeah, people think
you
that
played
like
this game, Coop?
Oh yeah, people think that like Dark Souls is hard and like Elden Ring. These games are like these monsters come kill you. No, dude, none of those games are hard compared to Cuphead. Cuphead's practically a memory game, right? Like that game is hard. That's the hardest game since like. It's like a updated version of Battletoads. Anyone that played that, that's how hard Cuphead.
I've heard the lore of Battletoads, but I've never actually played it. It's one of those like legendarily difficult games.
Battletoads hard, dude, and it's like it really, they have a lot of the same principles. Like you not only need to memorize exactly where you need to be, but so does the person playing with you, right? And if one of you messes it up, you have to start again, right? So it's a lot of that. But Cuphead's a blast, man. Great game. There was
one round. There was one moment where like it was like an on top of the world moment. We ended shortly after, but not beat. We had died probably 200 times. And my girlfriend was like, I'm going to get some water. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to practice and I'll probably die real quick at the beginning while you grab water. I lost all my lives on the very first part except for one, and then soloed the entire boss on my own, beat it, and the screams of joy. Like, we haven't had that kind of celebration. That's what Cuphead's doing for my household. Yeah. Is it's bringing like video game celebrations like we've never had whenever we defeat one of those bosses.
It's where you like both grab each other's arm and go in a circle like, yeah,
exactly.
Casually flip the table over.
Dogs start freaking out.
Then defeated. Yeah, you gotta love that.
How was your weekend, Coop?
Mine was good, man. I've told you I've been doing this diet where I'm like not drinking beers, eating healthy, but every once in a while I get a cheat day. And like when you do a diet for like a full month or any full length of time, like it moves the needle to where like, you know, before Christmas, like I would have, you know, I was eating and drinking, going crazy. Like if you gave me a slice of pizza, I'd be like, oh, whatever, dude. But I've been on this diet for so long that I'm so excited I'm so excited for pizza now. Like that, like when you go on a diet, the things that you think are tasty change. Like now I'm excited for like bagels, whereas before it's like I would just eat a bagel and that's just breakfast, you know. But like so this weekend I was so excited for pizza that I actually said the words pizza party and I meant it.
Pizza party.
We're having a pizza party, and I'm like, can I eat the leftovers tomorrow? And Kate's like, yeah, that's what leftover. Wait, we're just gonna throw it away. I was like, double pizza party weekend. So I'm this diet. It's scheduled to come to an end for the Super Bowl this week. Gonna have a couple beers. It should be fun. But
Coop, I don't know if your experience is, but not only when you haven't been eating pizza and you're about to eat pizza, your brain gets very excited for said pizza. But I found that then my stomach gets extra excited from said pizza as well when you're not used to eating pizza. Like you get so excited, and then afterwards, you're like, oh no, what have I done? Like every time.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see how the show goes. Yes,
No pizza's revenge yet.
No, not yet. I mean, the thing is, I've also been like, because of the diet and stuff, I probably had less pizza in each sitting than I typically would. Like, just I've conditioned myself that good food is a horrible thing.
we got some people in the chat with us this Monday morning. Joey over here said, oh, he is just singing some flowers. Said, I can buy myself flowers. I can hold my own hand. I can watch the FYF morning show. They can love me better than Keith can.
Who's Keith?
Some Miley love in the chat, and it's Keith. We got Tommy over here. Pro Bowl was fine, not great. Just swell. Oh, Tommy, I fully expected a rhyme in here, and then got thrown off when the cadence didn't rhyme. Said Pro Bowl was fine, not great, just swell. How long before the Mannings coach in the NFL? It did rhyme, and I screwed it up anyways. And Craig in here, keeping Tommy company in the BSN chat.
What an angel.
You guys think we do see the Mannings coach in the NFL at any point?
No.
Yeah.
Why would they?
Exactly. Yeah. It's like if they wanted to, they could, but it seems like a lot of effort. Whereas doing the Manning cast, they could just do that for fun, for funsies, and get paid. I mean, plus Peyton was smart with his money. Like he owns a ton of pizza chain. Like he owns a ton of Papa John's. So like he could just kind of coast if he wants.
I'm sure Eli has plenty of money as well. Like Peyton probably has
Papa
more
John's franchises.
I'm sure Eli's got like 14 or 15 Little Caesars in his back pocket that no one even knows about. Maybe he runs Peter Piper Pizza here in Texas. That sounds like an Eli pizza joint. Eli, what do you want to name your pizza place? Peter Piper Pizza.
So if Peyton is the pizza guy, what kind of chains would Eli own? Like I picture him owning like a Staples.
Sbarro.
No, not pizza or just like subs.
No, I was just going Sbarro, the pizza joint.
Oh no, I'm saying not pizza. Like what kind of guy is he? If Peyton's a pizza guy, then to me he's like a pen salesman. So I was saying like Staples or like Office Max.
I kind of like the idea of him also trying to be a pizza guy.
Just like a worse pizza.
I like the idea of him running a chain of, like the ones where you go in and they teach you how to paint a picture step by step, like that, but with pizza. And he makes everyone do it with their fingers, and he has no idea what he's doing. It's just like Lunchables style, like take the Bertolli crust out, put it down, and Eli has like an apron on, and he's covered in pizza sauce. And he runs a make your own pizza workshop. That's what Eli does.
Keith says Spencer's gift. Tommy says Salad Shack. Dude, if he bought in on Sweet Green, then he'd be crushing. Do you guys have Sweet Green where you live?
Yeah, there's one right across from where I used to work. About
how do you feel about
away.
How do you feel about this?
I like Chopped better, but I like Sweet Cream too.
Ooh, I don't know if we have Chopped here.
I think Chopped was like the original.
Either
one of them or both of them are from DC though.
Are those salad stores?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just salad?
Yeah, it's like salads. It's like Chipotle but salad.
Huh. Salads are us.
We don't have
salads.com.
We have Bailey and Sage.
Come get your salad.
And Sweet Green. People love Sweet Green here, and I'm just like, it's salad. You know what I mean? Like it's
expensive salad.
Expensive salad.
I've had salad before. We got Craig in here saying Eli would have pet stores. Think of the awkward commercials with him and all of the different animals.
All the reptiles climbing on Eli.
He's got one rabbit under his arm, but he holds it like this all the time. He's always got the rabbit like this. About to fall out.
You walk into the pet store and Eli's just sitting there with that look on his face and his hair a little disheveled. He's like, I lost the snake.
I feel like he's always dropping an animal at all times. Whenever you see him, like, hey, you're like, oh no, the rabbit got out. Like at all times, there's an animal that's escaping his arms.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't have normal pets like cats or dogs. It's all like birds, rabbits,
parrots.
My sugar glider got out again.
Sugar glider.
We kind of buried a comment from Craig here. What is your favorite pizza if you can have anything on it? That's a tough question, boys. How are you feeling?
Jalapeno. Fresh jalapeno.
Both of you guys quickly with the fresh jalapeno, huh? Not
fresh or pickled, JL.
I'll take either. I think I'd rather have pickled though.
Really?
If you go raw, it's like a whole nother game.
Give me
Ah,
that fresh jalapeno.
I like
It's
the fresh
tasty.
boys.
It's good. I'm not disparaging it, but I think I typically go or places where I order from will typically not do the raw one. They'll do the
Yeah.
pickled one.
For me, it depends
Tadaris.
where I'm at. Like if it's a really good pizza place, I do like to get either just cheese or pepperoni, especially if I've got those like cupped pepperonis that like
Hold the
like
grease.
kind of burnt on the top. Yeah, those are the best ones. But if
My guilty pleasure is Sicilian style pizza.
what's that?
So good. It's like thick. It's like square typically and thick crust. Real thick. Thick boy.
They've got this. There's a pizza place near me that does what they call Roman pizza, I think it is, and they bring out this like big square pizza, and they give you a set of scissors, and you like cut your own slices.
Pizza place. They got two kinds, Sicilian and not.
Sicilian and shut the hell up.
Sicilian and get the hell out of here.
Forget about it. Square with a thick crust. Yeah, that's
Tommy said Simon would like grandma style pizza. What is grandma style?
Grandma
pizza?
style.
Make sure you say
Grandma.
pizza after that, Jail. Grandma style pizza. That pizza's doing a lot of lifting in that sentence.
Grandma style pizza.
Look, it's got its own.
Tommy said
It's got its own Wikipedia page.
Grandma style?
Grandma style pizza is a distinct, thin, rectangular style of pizza attributed to Long Island, New York. Typically topped with cheese and tomato sauce, reminiscent of pizzas baked at home by Italian housewives who lack the pizza oven. The pizza is often compared to
Lack
Sicilian
of the
pizza.
pizza oven. Lack of the pizza oven.
The lack
I'm
of
good.
pizza
I'm
oven.
good on that grandma style, but I do think Detroit style pizza is slept on. I think Detroit style pizza is a slept on style of pizza. It's so good.
And speaking of pizza ovens, I'll give you guys a warning for anyone considering traveling to Italy. If you are going to Italy and you're expecting to eat pizza, which many people do, Venice is not the place to go. Do you guys know why?
They know I have the pizza.
The pizza, no, that's good.
How'd you know? You guys both got it. That's crazy. So it's like because it's
traveled.
because it's like an island, right? It was built on wood primarily back in the day. They actually aren't allowed to have the wood-fired pizza ovens that like the coal wood-fired pizza ovens that Italy's known for. So all through the rest of the country, you get this like properly cooked pizza, and they're not allowed to have those ovens. So you actually can't get classic Italian pizza.
Luigi, no make the pizza
No,
the right
no
way.
pizza.
That's wild. I feel like I would have heard those words out loud before. Like that's a pretty cool fact right there.
I learned that when I got there, dude. And we didn't go to anywhere. Now I have to go back to Italy, to other places, because I was disappointed.
So that you could tell people that fact.
I traveled there to bring the bad news back to the rest of you.
Well, thank you.
Listen, don't go to Venice. It sucks.
Very big sacrifice on my part.
We got Tim over here in the chat. He's going back a little, saying Eli is a Joanne Fabrics kind of guy, but he only likes the crayons in there.
Joanne
Just that,
Fabrics comes up so often on the show.
More, yeah, way
Entirely too many times.
Sponsored by Joanne Fabrics. NKC rules in here saying hi. What's up, NKC? And we got
up,
Trenton
NKC?
over here.
What up, Trenton?
Saying, morning,
NKC,
fellas.
Trenton.
Morning, Trenton.
Sup,
Partner.
gang?
Welcome in. Well, guys, it is that time of morning. Maybe you got some leftover cold pizza, a bagel cooking up, or some beans, whatever it is. I hope you brought something because it is BYOB. Bring your own breakfast. We've got the news stories. We've got the topics. You guys just got to bring a little something to eat. JL, what'd you eat for this Monday morning breakfast?
Ooh, I had a cool long banana.
A cool long banana.
Delicious.
Cool as in like temperature or like
Nah.
You know what's interesting about that is that I was actually disappointed with how short the banana I had this morning was.
No way.
Noticeably, I even thought about it. I was like, why did Kate even get these bananas, dude? They're like tiny. So
Little micro bananas.
yeah, micro nans.
Are they the actual like tiny nanas? Like I see
No,
these at the
no,
store sometimes.
they're not, because I would have been like, okay, like these are supposed to be small, but I think Kate she doesn't care, dude. She's not putting in the effort. I'll have to talk to her about it. I'll have
Phone
a
it
little
in.
pep talk.
Craig
Phone
said,
it.
I've always imagined jail with a cool long banana.
Most people do. Can I say, overpromise, underdeliver?
You guys ever seen those short, plump red ones? You know what I'm talking about? I see them at the store sometimes. They're not very curved like a normal banana. They're red, they're short, and they're kind of like thick. Like they're kind of girthy. I don't know, but it's like it's banana shaped, like, and it looks like it peels like a banana, but it's not a banana.
Notice how I sidestepped all that girthy talk, Coop?
Yeah, that was
Pretty
very grown up of you.
Very proud of me. I'm just saying.
The short, plump, non-girthy red banana.
Couldn't have been a weirder description if you tried, Simon.
No one has.
Could not have been
Craig
weird.
said, Simon, see a doctor for that banana you have.
Yeah.
And I just saw this banana. I stayed away though.
I had the reason I didn't respond is I had a difficult time deciding which adjective was the worst. And I think
Like, it was
I
girthy.
think
Like,
I
They all win.
think at the end of the day I've decided that red was the worst.
we got Adam over here. Says top of the morning to you. What's up,
What
Adam?
up,
Welcome, man.
Adam,
Good morning, my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, this morning I had a banana Nutri-Grain bar, no milk chug today, so we're out of milk. Kate, dude, I'm telling you, man, just I might have to step in.
Better get on this.
Yeah,
What's
the problem.
happening? Kate's dropping the ball.
Nah, she does a great job typically. One day off. You know, she'll be back. I trust in her ability to bounce back here.
Did you guys see this quote from Aaron Rodgers, or sorry, from Devontae Adams this weekend? This absolutely killed me. So, would I be interested in having Aaron Rodgers throw to me? Yes, I would love that. I would love to have that. And obviously, that would be a dream scenario, one that I'm very familiar with. Is Devontae Adams all right?
He's been doing a ton of campaigning for Aaron Rodgers to come here between, talking about living in his neighborhood and, liking
Take Derek's house.
tweets. Yeah, take Derek's house. He's been liking to like any tweet he sees that even mentions it. Somebody went into his likes and it's just all him liking random tweets about Rodgers to the Raiders. So he's all in, man. But there's a lot of competition out there. Let me tell you, very rare that we see a team like the Jets come out and say the things they've said. Multiple times now, they've come out and said, we are committed to getting a veteran quarterback here. We're going to get a veteran quarterback here. They even came out and said about Zach Wilson. Let's see. He said that they're going to keep him on as a backup, and they think that he can still develop behind a veteran quarterback. So they've already named Jet Wilson. They've already named Zach Wilson backup, right? So I don't know, man. It's tough. He doesn't have a no trade clause, so it's whoever the highest bidder is, right?
Starting quarterback is fill in blank here. Backup quarterback is Zach Wilson. That's how the Jets are going into the offseason.
Absolutely brutal.
They said, well,
absolutely brutal.
We can announce
shafted by the Jets.
Yeah, we can announce to you guys now who's not playing quarterback.
One thing is for certain, we definitely don't want this guy starting.
Don't get anything twisted. It will not be Zach Wilson.
We don't know who, but it definitely won't be him.
It feels rude. It feels rude to be like, yeah. Dude, there's another one that I thought was rude too, which the Cardinals came out, right? And they put together a list for some reason, I don't know why, of people that they have as their prospective coaches for the team. They said the three finalists are Brian Flores, Mike Kafka, and Lou Anaromo. And then they said they've also informed their defensive coordinator, Vance Joseph, and Bengals OC Brian Callahan that they've been eliminated from consideration, right? Which kind of wild for them to come out and be like, to their own defensive coordinator, who I believe is under contract, and be like, hey, just so you know, you're not getting the job, and you're also not even top 3. Like, doesn't that feel a little harsh to be like, hey, Vance, you're out. We don't even know who it's going to be, but it's going to be one of these other guys, this whole group of guys that you're not even in the same tier as, just so you know. All right. So be ready to be the defensive coordinator this year.
If you're lucky.
if you're lucky.
Yeah.
Like,
If you're good.
right? Like, geez, at
If
least
you
lie to the
behave.
guy. At least lie to the guy and pretend he's top 3 or 4, right? Just be like,
Vince, one of these 3 guys is gonna fire you in about a month.
right.
Just so you know.
Jeez, dude.
You won't know who, you won't know when.
Right. He's
But
like,
it's gonna happen.
Brian Flores is also a defensive minded coach. It's like, we talked to both you guys, and this guy knows way more about defense. So you're out, obviously. Like, geez.
See
man.
ya.
NFL's ruthless, man. I realized how ruthless the NFL is when we were doing that game the other day with Vinny, and the coach that's been in the league for the 5th longest time is on his 6th year. That's it.
On the same team. Yeah. Like the tenures get that list gets pretty short pretty quick.
Real quick.
You got Mike Tomlin up there at the top. You got Pete Carroll. You got who else was up there?
Billy.
Tomlin, Pete, Billy. Yeah,
And
but
then
even
it goes down pretty fast.
Yeah, then it was like tied for Andy Reid, I think, was the other one that's been there for a long time. Then tied, the other guys are like tied for 6th. Vrabel was 7th on the list with 5 years,
Which is wild.
Yeah,
Absolutely wild. We got NKC in here letting us know they're having cookies and milk for breakfast.
Santa.
Cookies for breakfast. And Trenton is having vape and Mio for breakfast. A nice, healthy.
Is Mio that juice squirting?
Mio's that water squirt.
Nice.
Trent's
Solid breakfast.
Trent's living in the Matrix, bro.
I meant he's just squirting it straight into his mouth. It's not going in water. Just
he just climbs out of a climbs out of a bowl of goo, like unplugs the cords. Drinks his vitamin juice and then smokes the rest of his
Mio directly into his eyes.
Little eye drops.
It's the future.
Don't
baby.
drive behind Trenton. Trenton just like vomiting out Mio water and vape out the window.
It's the future. I see a lot of names in that chat, not seeing a lot of likes on the YouTube. Don't make me come over there, boys and girls.
You won't like Coop when he's hungry.
You won't like Coop when he don't get enough likes. If we don't get enough likes on this video, then how are we gonna get the porn bots in here?
That's true.
You did.
And then how will Keith find his self-worth, huh?
Then how will Keith know? How will Keith know what to click on for hot, sexy singles in his area?
Trenton had a good question for us. Speaking of hot, sexy singles, Trenton had a good question for us.
Great segue, Jay.
Yes. Do you think they would finally give Mac Jones a weapon? Year 3, they did it for Tua and Hurts because I got him on my dynasty team, and I was going to do the 1-4, 111, and Mac Jones, but I looked at the stats, and Jones did better than Tua in his last year. So I changed my mind, and I hope they'll give him some weapons just to get a level up. Some Mac Jones love up to Tua's level. What do you guys think? You guys think that Mac Jones gets some weapons? Billy B's finally able to break that wide receiver curse, maybe?
So here's the problem. It's kind of twofold. One is that you look at what Belichick has said, and he indicates that he's ready to spend money this offseason, right? Last year, they let J.C. Jackson leave for try and get back, I think, a compensatory pick, which should be a 3rd or 4th round pick. They traded for Devontae Parker, which doesn't mess up that comp pick formula. So instead of spending money, they traded. And then Belichick himself came out and said, if you look at the last 3 years, we're kind of down in spending. You spend 1 year, then you don't the next, kind of implying that they're going to spend this year. The problem is arguably the best wide receiver in the free agent market was already on the team last year. Jacoby Myers. Like, who can they really go out and buy that would be an upgrade? Like, they have Devontae Parker at split end. DJ Chark is a split end. Alan Lazard's a split end. Are these massive upgrades? I don't know. At slot, it's like the options are Jacoby, who they already had, or Juju. You know what I mean? Like Paris Campbell. Like, where are the upgrades? Like, that's the problem. So they
Kenny Galladay.
Kenny G, dude. Like, bring him on in.
Mother trucking G.
I can't wait for him to sign somewhere because
be awesome.
No matter where, it's going to be funny.
I can't wait for him to sign somewhere and be amazing.
Yeah,
Just imagine he was amazing with Matt Stafford and then sucks with Daniel Jones and then he's amazing with somebody else. We just saw that same story with Evan Engram, who is a top 5 tight end with Eli Manning, plays with Daniel Jones, not good. Then he plays with Trevor Lawrence, top 5 tight end. It would be amazing if Kenny Galladay if they're just like, yeah, just had to play with somebody else. This guy's throwing like 10 touchdowns a year.
Honestly, I think that's what 2023 needs. It needs Kenny Galladay as a fantasy relevant wide receiver. League winner, Kenny Galladay.
Oh my God.
League winner
I
Kenny
wish
Galladay.
I would love for him to do that. And then, because I haven't heard him say much, I would love for him to do that and then just come out and be like, hey, everybody, shut the hell up. But he's not even a free agent, is he?
I don't think so.
He can be released for 10 million. He can be released for so he can be released for 14.7 million in dead cap, only 6.7 million in savings.
So he might be a giant next year.
If he's traded, then he has 10 million in dead cap, 11 million in savings. So more of a 50-50.
Hey, well, the Patriots might be able to trade for Kenny Galladay.
Is Kenny Galladay that much better as a split end than Devontae Parker?
And based on what we saw this year, not at all.
No.
That's what I'm saying. So I want them to, as a Patriots fan, I want them to add pieces. It might have to be through the draft. And as we know, the Patriots are arguably the worst team there's been in the draft. Going back 30 years, the best wide receiver they've drafted wasn't even a wide receiver. It was Julian Edelman. He played quarterback at Kent State, right? The next best wide receiver that they drafted in terms of fantasy points over the last 30 years is
N'Keal Harry.
N'Keal Harry's in the top 5. I'm not even kidding. Like, that's how bad it is. I just actually pulled it up the other day. These are the top 5 wide receivers in terms of fantasy points drafted over the last 20 years by the Patriots. Number 1, Julian Edelman. Number 2, Braxton Berrios. And he got
Yikes.
And he's had most of those points on the Jets. Number 3, Brandon Tate. Number 4, N'Keal Harry. Number 5 is Aaron Dobson.
Pretty impressive list to be a part of.
Well, yeah, especially when you realize that Chad Jackson was a second-round pick. N'Keal Harry was a first-round pick. Taylor Price was a second-round pick. But Aaron Dobson was a third-round pick. Like, it's not even like they're just not drafting him. They are trying. They're just so bad at it. It's alarming. So I don't even know what I want them to do. Go get another tight end, a third tight end.
Just keep getting tight ends.
Load up.
It would work for you.
I'm on board.
I saw Jared Goff and Derek Carr had a little conversation this past weekend that got reported on some quarterbacks commiserating on shared experience. Jared Goff was talking to Derek Carr about the disappointment of being let go by your team. And he said, I think his head is in a great place about it. Whatever ends up happening with him, there's definitely life on the other side. Oftentimes, a really great life.
Whoa.
Jared Goff giving a little bit of love to his new Detroit life, right? Sounds like he's all right over there. That sounded a little bit like flirtatious, didn't it? Like whenever someone's getting interviewed and they're like, and sometimes you have a special person in your life. Really special person. Look over at that person in your life. Know what I mean? Like after he said sometimes a really great life, he like turned around and winked at Dan Campbell.
Dan Campbell's like, thanks, man.
Eli Manning looks down at his bunny. He's like,
I love you, Jeffrey.
What were they? Where they have this conversation? Were they at a meeting of the immobile quarterbacks clubs?
It was at a CC's Pizza, I'm pretty sure.
Kirk Cousins
CC's is
banging
slaps.
the gavel. CC's? You think that's Jared Goff's pizza place?
Oh yeah, mac and cheese pizza.
Little Caesars
Let's go
is that's a Detroit pizza, I believe.
Is it?
I mean, I think it is because I saw it in a TV show.
Okay, so that's pretty good reason. I have no further questions.
The Detroiters suggested that it was a New York company. I mean, sorry, a Detroit company, and I believe them.
I have
from Detroit. See, I thought you were saying it was Detroit style pizza, which I guess if it's from Detroit, but you're saying Little Caesars is headquartered in Detroit, right?
Yes, and it is. So everyone shut up.
You learn something new every day. In case anybody was wondering where the headquarters of Little Caesars was, it's in Detroit. And that may or may not be where Jared Goff and Derek Carr talk to each other. I'm guessing not. My guess is at the Pro Bowl, where a lot of NFL players were this week, and I know Derek Carr was, and Jared Goff. But
it could be the meeting of the Mobile Quarterbacks Club.
At the CC's Pizza in Dubuque, Iowa.
Yep.
They had their big retirement party for Tom Brady.
At CC's, but Tom didn't come. It was just Jared and Derek.
Kirk.
Jared Kirk and Derek Carr. Who else would be in the immobile quarterbacks club? Those guys are like
Ben Roethlisberger. He couldn't make it,
He
but
tried.
he sent a
He
card.
tried his hardest. He just couldn't get there quick enough.
Drew Brees. The last 2 years of Drew Brees' career, he ran for negative yards.
That's all right.
Yep. Yeah, he's in. He's in.
Yeah. Come on down to CC's, Drew.
KC
yeah.
asking, do you guys
He's a Hall
do
of Famer.
baseball after football? Well, we're doing a fantasy baseball league this year, and we're going to learn on this show how to do it. So not traditionally baseball guys, but there'll be some baseball.
So to answer your question, no.
But yes.
I've been playing, and Casey, I've been playing for years. I used to write articles, but they had me focus on football. But I still do the Great Fantasy Baseball Invitational, and I still do Raz Slam, and I'm going to do a league with this group here. So
Whoa.
I'll have some insights, but I don't get as deep into it as I do the foosball because I think football is a little more fun. But baseball is certainly entertaining for the other months of the year.
Tommy saying Sid Luckman, career rushing yards negative 218 as a quarterback.
How's that possible, dude? But they
Is
used
that
to
like
count.
when they had the college rushing yards rules for quarterback? Like, because in college, a sack counts as negative rushing yards for a QB. Is that, did they used to have that in the NFL?
Nah, he was just clumsy as hell.
No, Mofo just fell a lot.
They
Just
had
running
to.
behind the line.
No
Whoa!
coordination.
They had to, bro, because in 1945, this guy had negative 111 yards. Negative 118.
The worst runner.
That man, Daniel
No-
Jones.
no sense of direction.
Great grandfather.
Jeez, dude.
And from the fruit of his loins, Daniel Jones eventually would come to grace the NFL.
These guys sucked back then. Dude, this guy, 1944, this guy threw for 1,018 yards and was the all-pro quarterback one.
Let's go.
Oh, he threw for just over 1,000 yards and 11 touchdowns. And 12 picks. He threw 11 touchdowns and 12 picks, and they're like, that's the best quarterback in the league.
My favorite thing in the world is listening to like stories or retellings or seeing old headlines from around when someone threw the ball for the first time in football. Like that era of football, like right at the beginning, whenever someone said, you know what? Let's chuck it in the air and see what happens, because people were livid. You know what I mean? Just, you cannot believe
What he just do?
Exactly.
Man just threw it.
The absolute outrage that someone would put that ball into the air was just over the top. And it's so much fun to go back and read those and like look
What
at
is
the
this,
game we have
baseball?
now.
It's the integrity of the game matter. I mean, we act like we don't get pissed about every little rule change now too, though. Like that's a part of being
100%.
that's an American pastime. Being out.
Are the new overtime rules gonna come into play? They got the new overtime rules for the playoffs this year, right?
I don't know.
Haven't come into play yet. They changed them, changed the way it works.
I hope they do.
How does it work now?
Different than it did before.
Hmm.
So last year it worked one way,
Interesting.
and then there was some anger about it. There was upset, and then they said,
Upset,
"Okay,
anger,
we want to fix
denial.
that." And so they took the rules, changed them, and then implemented it this year to the different
New
ones.
rules.
And
New
then they
rules.
say no more upset.
We'll find out.
Happy now?
Happy, no more upset.
So
The
it's
old
15 minutes
rules.
instead of 10 minutes, and I believe it's not like if you score it all on your first possession, it's game over. There's
Right.
something different along those lines, because it was because of the Bills coin flip controversy. I believe that this got changed.
They should have flipped that coin better. They
Yeah.
had that problem if they had Matthew Slater.
Never
they
got
need
the
more
coin flip
rotation.
wrong.
Never. He's the best. Best
Can't be
in the biz.
beat.
Can't be beef. NKC asking, what do you guys do after football then? And they said, let me guess, football all year. Trends of dynasty football never dies. Yeah, we'll be in here talking
Chakalaka.
dynasty. We'll be talking NFL news. We're talking just fun topics like we do every day.
Here's what I'm doing right now. Over on fantasyalarm.com, I'm doing a write-up on every single NFL team going all 32. The legal tampering period for free agency, which is basically the opening of free agency, is March 13th. Dude, that's just over a month away. So I'm doing all 32 teams. And what I'm doing is I'm breaking down the contracts, breaking down the roster, the depth chart. And I'm saying, here's what they have in place now for quarterbacks, wide receivers, tight ends, running backs. Here are the contracts. Here's what they might do in free agency. And this is how it's going to affect your dynasty players. Tell you who to buy, tell you to sell, tell you to hold, right? We go right through that into free agency. Then we do the free agency tracker. Right after that, we're already talking draft prospects. Then it's the draft, the NFL draft. Awesome. Right after that, we're into rookie drafts. Then by the time you get through that, it's best ball season. You're drafting best ball teams on Underdog using promo code ALARM. And once you get through that, it's Scott Fish Bowl. And by the time you're through that, we're already right back to redraft season, and we're kicking off the NFL season. NFL never sleeps, my boys. It's always football. It's all the time. It's right here on Front Yard Fantasy and on fantasyalarm.com.
I feel like I'm there already. The season already started. We're already drafting. It's game time, baby.
This is my favorite part of the season, where there's no football to come along and ruin everything with the injuries and the fumbles and the actual things happening that can prove you wrong. Right now, it's the perfect time for rampant speculation. Nobody can prove me wrong. I can say whatever I want. It's the best time to talk.
I say that where this is my favorite part of the offseason on Twitter because it's just takes. Takes only. Takes and takes only.
Season.
Takes, baby. And you're going to think you're out of takes. You're going to think there could possibly be no more takes. And then there's still 4 months left. And there's going to be 4 months of new takes. And there's nothing to prove them right or wrong yet. You just get to keep making them baselessly and keeping track of them going into the season. And you're going to make so many that come the time of next year, you're going to have 10 that you're super hyped about, 10 that you were super wrong about, 10 that were right in the middle. It's just fun, man. It's just fun.
It's the best, dude. And Adam Weber in the chat. I'm joining a dynasty startup league. Do y'all recommend going with youth or talent for the first year in the draft? I personally always play to win. My dynasty rankings don't look that much different from my redraft rankings. Basically, what I do is I take dynasty ADP, right, where everyone else is going to skew younger, and I use my rankings of who I think is going to be really good now, and then use the ADP to figure out who I should draft when. But I'm still trying to get my guys. It's just like if I have an older guy that's high in my rankings, I might wait a little bit to draft him. But I play to win now. I trade away my picks because you never know how long the league's going to be around. You never know if, a whole army of Chinese spy balloons are going to come over the United States and then block out our ability to play fantasy football, block out the whole internet. That could happen. So
That's what they go for first.
That's what they do
Fantasy
first,
football.
There's no question in my mind.
Take down the platforms.
They go right for the heart and spirit. They go right for sleeper first. So you never know like how long the league's gonna be in place or whatever. Not to mention, I've done that in a bunch of leagues, and guess what? I'm good at this, so my teams don't have to go through rebuilds or fall apart. I just draft a good team, and then I keep drafting good players, and then I keep having a shot at winning every single year. The people that trade away all their players and try and say like, okay, my startup draft is in 2023. I'm going to win in 2026. In the meantime, I'll just keep paying my dues and giving money to somebody else. Like, that's crazy. I'm not going to do that. So, for me, I'm going in right now, Adam. Go for the win.
Yeah, I don't view it necessarily as youth first talent. The way that I look at this is through the lens of like lifetime value. And so if there's a player, if you can translate lifetime value based off of age. And so if a player is young, they're going to give you most likely going to give you more time, more years of value. So you factor that into the equation versus someone who's older is probably going to give you higher value in the short term, but not for as long. And I'm going based solely on my draft. I'm looking how my league mates are skewing because a dynasty startup draft is one of the most important moments in a fantasy team's life, right? It's the start. It's going to set the tone for everything. And so I'm really playing my league in a dynasty startup.
Yeah, JL makes a good point. Like sometimes it's out of your hands. Like if you pick 12 in your draft, or let's say you pick first, right? And you go out and with the first pick, you take the best young player you can. Say you take Justin Jefferson, right? That doesn't determine what direction you're going to go in because he's good and he's young. But let's say you do that, and then every other person goes out and drafts 2 running backs, and they're taking like Christian McCaffrey and Derrick Henry. Those guys are clearly playing for now. So you might have to do what JL says and play it the way people are giving it to you. If everybody's skewing young, maybe you go old. If everybody else is skewing old, maybe you do go young. So JL's right. I will throw that caveat on in there. That for the startup, you might have to lean into what's going on. Don't force drafting the old guys. Like I said, if everyone's doing that, then you're not using it to your advantage. So I'm with JL on that. For the startup, at least you got to kind of go that way. My strategy is I'm never going to do a startup and say, I'm not competing to win right now. I always play to win.
I generally agree with you guys. I did want to add one more, like slightly more specific piece of advice. I feel like consistently in Dynasty, the 27-plus-year-old wide receivers are slept on so hard, and their careers can have another 3-4 years in their prime starting at 27. But people start discounting them for age around that year 27 season. So don't be afraid to grab those guys that are maybe viewed as a little bit older, because 27 is not old for a wide receiver. That's a young wide receiver. You're still getting a couple more years of production out of a wide receiver that's 27.
The peak age for why? So I've seen a number of different sites that have done the same study. The peak ages for wide receivers are 26, 27. That's when that's when most elite wide receivers have their best years. I mean, look at guys like Keenan Allen. Like if you drafted him when he was 26, 27 years old, you've been getting ridiculous production out of that guy all the way up to 30 where he is now. Looking at the stats, it says the peak ages are 26, 27, 28, and then 25, and then 29, and then after 30, it starts to tail off. So at 27, man, you're dialed in. That's what I like to do. Draft guys like that. Go for young running backs, obviously, if possible, but I'll take the old ones if I have to, and just win. Win now.
We got Dustin in the chat. Said, "What's up, boys? What up, Dustin?
What up, Dustin? Welcome in, my friend."
How do you guys usually treat quarterback in a 1 QB league?
Disposable.
Punt them into the sun.
Punt them? Yeah. 1 QB, I think that's valid because it's so easy to trade for them. You can have them. People don't care. They're like, just whatever. Have them.
Swimming in quarterbacks in our 10-team 1 quarterback dynasty league, or like main dynasty league. I got like 4, and I can't drop them because they're all really good. I'm just drowning in them.
And like I probably overpaid for a quarterback in a 1 QB dynasty league, and I traded Cortland Sutton for Josh Allen. You know what I mean? And that was based on how they're valued. I probably even overpaid a little bit, which is wild. That's how devalued quarterbacks are in a 1 QB dynasty compared to a Superflex dynasty. Like, can you imagine Superflex trading Cortland Sutton for Josh Allen straight up?
Not gonna happen.
You'd get kicked out of the league.
I love Simon. Simon goes, "You want these 27-year-old wide receivers, but I traded one for a quarterback."
That was a couple years ago. That was before he was 27, and I needed a quarterback.
And I'm JL. I do the same thing with tight ends. Like I'm such a tight end guy that I'm like, it's my job to research them all the time. So I'm always like, oh, this guy, and then I'm like, oh, I'll add him to my dynasty. I'll go through my dynasties and I like add, like Jelani Woods there. And then I realized that you do that 7 or 8 times, and you have 7 or 8 tight ends in a league where you start 1 tight end.
Right.
It's just
stashing them all.
Stash it up. And then I'm just like, anybody need a tight end? No.
Yeah. It was all like situations where the players just kind of fell to me. Like I got Dak pretty much for free in a trade, or Trey Lance fell to the 3rd round of the rookie draft. It's like, oh, well, got to take him there.
Gotta, right? Not going to not.
Right. Maybe next year I'll drop Kirk Cousins. We'll see.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if anyone noticed. I hardly did, but the Pro Bowl was this weekend.
I noticed. I saw it there.
I saw it. And one thing we talked about was how the Patriots had this rookie running back, Robert Edwards, that tore his knee up so this is back in like 1999. Tore his knee up in some flag football game they played on sand, which was a terrible idea. And sure enough, this week they play a flag football game, and Browns star Myles Garrett suffers a dislocated toe, limps off the field. X-rays came back negative, which is a good thing, but just another one of those things where, do you think Myles Garrett's going to participate in any of these flag football games anymore after
probably not
smashing his toe? I mean, can you imagine the first thought going through his mind playing in this silly flag football game when he limped off the field with a smashed up toe?
You idiot is probably what he thought. Know what I mean? Like, not that he is an idiot for doing it. They're out there having fun. They should be able to go out and do that. But that's probably what you think whenever that happens. Like, this is for nothing. Why did you do that?
He's probably thinking, Is that my toe? Why does it look like that?
He probably thought, why don't they call it dislocated?
Oh.
Imagine though, he's just like limping off, and the trainers grab him. They're like, "What is it? Where does it hurt? Like, what's going on?" And he's like, "Oh, why don't they call it dislocated?"
Good question, Miles. We don't know.
So brutal. Speaking of dislocated, Lamar Jackson, who could be a dislocated quarterback after this year, is not very close in the contract negotiations via Dov Kleiman with the Ravens. He's saying that the Ravens and quarterback Lamar Jackson could possibly be $100 million apart in contract talks over how much guaranteed money should be in his contract. And those trade calls are coming.
Wow.
100 million.
What? So
How's
he
that
wants
possible?
What was the report? It was 133 million before,
Well,
right? In guaranteed money?
well, that's the thing though, is that that would make, honestly, it would make sense, because if they're saying 133, Deshaun Watson got 230 million guaranteed. His whole contract's guaranteed. So
maybe that's it. It's just the gap. He wants the gap between what Deshaun has.
If the Ravens are saying we'll give you 130 million guaranteed and it's 100 million off, it could very well be, hey, I want Deshaun Watson money. Like, look at this idiot here. I've been MVP of the league, right? And this guy's a creep. Like, why is he getting so much more money than me? The Browns really did screw everything up. And I bet if I'm a Browns fan, I love this. I think it's hilarious. You know what I mean? Because if you believe in Deshaun Watson, not only did you get your guy, but you screwed it up for everybody else. Right? They paid David Njoku a bunch of money. Now Mark Andrews going to want a bunch of money. Right? It's kind of interesting psychologically.
100 million is a big gap to overcome, and I'm starting to get nervous. I mean, he's going to play, right? Like, he's going to be on the franchise tag. JL, you're probably the closest to this situation. Do you think he plays on that tag? Because it's like 100 million. That's a pretty big gap. That sounds like they're not even on the same page whenever it comes to negotiations. Like, it doesn't sound friendly. 100
My guess is that he's just like, they're just taking a hard stance. They're not really even negotiating then. If he's just like only accepting top of the market, that sounds like what it probably is. It's just like Ravens don't want to pay the top of the market and they want some attrition.
Honestly, if I'm Lamar Jackson, I'm pulling a Le'Veon Bell, and I'm not playing just because of the way he plays. His style of play, you get a lot of wear and tear in 1 year, and I don't think he can go out and take it easy. You know what I mean? Like, this guy,
Le'Veon Bell's an interesting case though to pick.
Right? Le'Veon Bell got a ton of guaranteed money from the Jets.
But that kind of ruined his career. Like, he wasn't really viable after that. His career tanked.
But is that because he, like, looking back on it, we don't even know if it's because he took the year off that he tanked. I mean, he played fine on the Jets. He got a stupid bag of money that'll, generational wealth. Like, I don't know, man. What if he had played for the Steelers and gotten hurt, and then he only had $5 million instead of $27 million guaranteed?
Sure, it's a gamble, yeah.
I mean, people say that it didn't work out, like, career-wise, but I mean, he made $30 million guaranteed. So I don't know. It's kind of hard to sit back and be like, he sure sucks for him, right? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think he did all right. Like, because what would have happened if he played for the Steelers? He would have put up more stats and got $5 million, and then what? They probably wouldn't have paid him again. And they would have had to go somewhere else,
Trenton in here with interesting hypotheticals says the Bears have the cap and they got Fields. They could straight trade with the Ravens for Lamar Jackson, and Fields fits that system. I would never see it happening, but that's fun to think about. That would be wild.
That would be insane.
To just plug Justin Fields in over there, Lamar Jackson on the Bears.
Cole Kmet to the moon.
I would hate it, but also it wouldn't be the worst trade ever.
Wouldn't be the worst trade ever. Or at least it wouldn't be the worst trade on paper. It could, over the long haul, end up being the worst trade ever.
At least you'd still get to cheer for Justin Fields. Like, that would be a fun outcome of that trade.
What I mean.
Like, as a Ravens fan, like, you'd lose Lamar. That's sad. But
and it's just like a weird, like, they're definitely not like just one for one replaceable,
No.
Be crazy, man.
That would be
But
crazy.
yeah, I don't know. I think holding out. Plus, it's different as a quarterback because like quarterbacks typically have more longevity, right? Like
For sure.
we look at Russell Wilson and say like, he feels like a guy that has a good amount of time left, but he's 35 years old.
He's 35 years old. Somehow he simultaneously
he's-
seems like 26 and 55 at the same time.
He's
Like he
30
gives off
34 years old, turns 35 during the season.
Who are you talking about?
Russell Wilson.
Oh.
He got kind of a baby face, right?
But
First
then at the
thought you
same
were talking about
time,
Lamar. I was like, when did Lamar get so old?
Lamar's still like 25. Like Lamar he's 26. He's very young.
Jail's like this is Jail finding out he's been asleep for 10 years. We've been doing the show without you for the last 10 years. You just woke up. Lamar Jackson is nearing the end of his career. His contract talks again, actually.
Okay, yes, this is his second contract.
Lamar's younger than Joe Burrow.
Well, Joe Burrow came into the league pretty old, right? He was an old guy.
Yeah, like 36.
Like 37 or 38.
He's 38.
He was 42 whenever he entered the league, if I'm not mistaken.
He's a brand
almost as old as Hunter Renfrow was whenever he entered the league.
Old as Velus Jones Jr.
Is there a new like Hunter Renfrow in college football where like everyone jokes that they've been in school for like 18 years? Because that was the running gag when Renfrow was in college. Like, oh, Renfrow, the 40-year senior. Like he's just been at Clemson forever. Is there a new been at that school forever in college football?
Stetson Bennett for Georgia. I think he's
been there a while.
Yeah, this October. So he's going to get drafted this year, I think, right? Or he'll be drafted this year during his rookie season. He'll turn 26.
Hot. You know what else is hot? The daily Weddle that we've been absolutely killing so far. We are on a streak,
are so good today,
baby. We have not missed one yet, and I think it's time we get into today's Weddle. Guys, if you want to play along with us, you can play along at weddlegame.com. This is a game where we guess NFL players. It's going to tell us if different things about them are right or wrong, if it's close, their division, their team, their position, their number, their age, their height,
their weight,
their
social security number,
their mother's maiden name,
their father's maiden name,
the birthplace of their first pet,
the location of their sibling right now,
the length of their gallbladder in centimeters,
and in feet.
Will that be helpful for you, Coop?
I think if we knew the exact length of their gallbladder in centimeters and feet, then I would get it right away.
What does your gallbladder do, Coop?
What does it do?
Yeah, what's your gallbladder do, JL, before you just start asking people?
Yeah.
What, a gallbladder's got to do something now?
JL.
Huh?
Yeah.
Why can't you just have a gallbladder? It's got to have a job.
You got to mention my gallbladder?
It's mainly used for regulation of
the markets, the global markets.
Global market regulation. Yeah. Pretty important.
That checks out.
The gallbladdering system.
So who we guessing first?
Lilith.
I think it's
NFL player Lilith.
It's Simon's turn to guess first.
Yeah, yes, it is. And the player we're going to guess first is. Ever get in that moment where like every NFL player that's ever existed leaves your brain at one time?
Yeah.
Nope.
I'm just going to pick a team. The team I randomly pick is the Chicago Bears. The player I randomly pick is Darnell Mooney.
Oh, your boy.
Random.
Okay. The only information we got are close to 25. So they're 23 or 24, younger. They are in the NFC, but not in the NFC North. They're not a wide receiver. They're taller than 5'11", and their number is higher than 11. So this is probably a tight end. Maybe a running back. But they have to be at least 6'1".
Well,
that'd be a pretty tall running back.
There's 6'1" running backs. Like there are 6'1" running backs, but not a lot.
Those are tall. Those ones are tall.
Could be a quarterback.
You're right. It could be a quarterback as well.
So we have three other NFC North teams.
Not in the NFC North.
I'm sorry, three other divisions that aren't the NFC North is what I was saying, obviously. Let's see. So what about a team from the NFC East? Under 25 years old, not a wide receiver. How about a close to 25?
Close to 25, but younger.
What about what if we
Dallas Goddard is too old.
Dallas Goddard?
Too
What were
old.
you
How
gonna
about,
say,
how about
JL?
Daniel Bellinger? He might be too young.
I think he's too young. I think he's like 21, 22, right? Did you have one, John Lynn?
We could go with Brock Purdy. That he's is he how tall is he? Is he 6'1"?
I think Brock Purdy would fit.
I think Brock Purdy would fit. He's NFC.
Sure.
He's not those positions. You guys want to try Brock Purdy?
Yeah,
That was Brock.
Let's do Purdy.
Find out if it's a quarterback. It
Third
is
half.
not a quarterback, but the age is correct. The NFC West is correct.
Ooh,
Height,
that's
they
good.
are taller than 6'1", but close. So they're 6'2" or 6'3", and their number is higher than 13. So
But
I'm
at 23.
I'm imagining this is probably a tight end then.
Yeah.
Taller
in
than
the NFC
6'1",
West. A young
6'2" or 6'3".
Noah Fant,
Noah's older than 23, I think.
25. Oh, no, 23. You're right. 23 is the age.
Yeah.
NFC West. Who are some other young?
what about-
Trey McKitty?
I was gonna say, who's the Cardinals tight
Could
end?
be the Tracer, dude. Let's get McKinney in there.
What's his number? Do you know?
No, I don't know it, but it's got to be higher than. It's definitely higher than 13.
You want to try McKitty?
Yeah, let's get him in there.
That isn't the position is right. Oh, I'm an idiot.
Not Trey
AFC
McKinney.
West.
You want Trey McBride.
And I said Trey McKitty. I put it in there.
Oh,
I just
Simon,
said
you
the
ding
wrong
dong.
name. No, I'm
You
an
ding
idiot.
dong did.
I knew
You
McKitty
ding.
was not right, but I couldn't think of the right name. I was like, I thought that was a tight end, like a big name tight end guy.
All right, well, put Trey McBride in there now.
Oh man, I just wasted one. If we don't get this, it's on me, you guys. Oh, and it was Trey McBride. Trey McBride was 100%
It was Trey
correct.
McBride. Well,
We would have
we-
gotten in 3.
It was not just you, Simon, because we were all like, "Yeah, McKinney."
Yeah, we
So-
all were. We all had that gap for some.
Nobody
reason.
stopped you. Nobody.
Jill,
Stopped
now that you mention it, I feel like I did sense the slight hesitation and yeah, McKitty. Like you were like, that doesn't sound right, but it's close enough that I'm gonna agree.
Yeah, and I couldn't think of the right name. I was like, McKitty doesn't sound right, but I feel like there's a big name guy we were all excited about coming into the year.
I'm an idiot. I'm an
And it was
idiot.
McBride.
But we got it. 4
We
tries.
got it. 4.
I'm
4
counting
is
at
good.
3. I'm counting at 3.
I think that's fair.
It's the thought that counts.
It's the thought that counts. Guys, coming up, we got some more fun going on today. We're going to play some Dear Diarrhea, where we let our diarrhea know some lessons that we've learned recently. We've got some superlatives to hand out, and we're going to play a game we call Feeling Lucky Punk. And then we got some pens to sell as well in a segment we call Sell Me This Pen. Right now, you're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Better Sports Network is sponsored by Lucra.
Now being joined by Dylan Robbins, the CEO of Lucra.
Lucra is a unique new platform, but it really has a basis and a very simple idea is that we think that people want to bet with their friends, right? Our product is built off the fact that the casual fan is at the bar or at their buddy's house and they're putting $5 on the game and they're doing it on Venmo. And I think that there's a huge opportunity to open the market up to all these casual fans. A lot of people who feel boxed out by the traditional sports books because they're too complicated or there's complex jargon. They don't understand the lines or the spreads. And so Lucra's goal is to just make it simple. And our favorite way of doing that is we just connect you directly with your friends. So it's a social platform. It's peer-to-peer. We're not the house. We don't take any risk on these wagers. We just are a marketplace to kind of connect you with your friends directly to engage. So it started as just a business for sports. We've expanded outside of sports now. We offer 150 recreational games from cornhole to beer pong to darts to Wordle to Peloton. You name it. You can challenge your friends now on Lucra. And you've got all the gaming and tracking and stats and leaderboards to go with it to make it fun. So it's a bit about what we do, and excited to chat with you guys about it today.
What's the future growth of Lucra?
Good question. I think for us, it's really the expansion outside of sports. I think that we've proven that sports is a great model. We've got a ton of great customers who love our sports product, but we're really paving the way or really innovating on this recreational game side of our business as we think about all these unique categories and areas where people are competing. Spike ball, pickleball, all these things that are blowing up across the globe right now. Lucra is the first real way where people can bet with their friends on these games. And so we're getting a lot of new customers from that, a lot of brand awareness from that. And I think we're just trying to iterate that product, make it more fun, make it easier. But we're going to keep our ethos the same, casual, social, and fun. That's what Lucra's about. Our average contest is $10. This is not about bankrupting your friends. It's not about winning big and paying your rent. It's about the magic of the moment and making that moment better by having $5 on the line. If you ever played a round of golf on Sunday or watched a football game, you guys get it. You put a few bucks on it. It just changes the way you interact with that game. You watch it longer. You spend more money there. And it gives us a lot of time for us to, a lot of opportunity for us to partner with other brands because of that.
Better Sports Network is sponsored by Lucra. Winning is fun, and beating your friends is even better. Download the Lucra app today to challenge your friends and win money.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. It's February 6th. I keep having to remind myself. I keep telling myself I'm going to remember the date and I'm going to remember the day of the week, but it's hard. It is hard to keep track of it all every single day.
Monday, February 6th.
2023, Anno Domini.
Anno Domini.
Or Common
bet you won't forget it now,
Era.
Simon.
Common Era, CE, BCE, AD. All those things are crazy words that don't quite make sense to me because they're all about time.
Time doesn't make sense.
Time. We had Adam in the chat come in with a question for us during the break. You want to know, anyone know of any good sites to mock draft for dynasty and redraft?
Ooh.
So, Jail, if you're going to do a mock draft this time of year, you got a spot you generally go to do it?
Generally, we will stick to Sleeper just because it's the easiest that we found for our streams and stuff. But I don't think it's necessarily the best mock draft product out there. There's plenty of other ones that you can play with. I'm pretty sure Football Guys has a good one. Their Draft Dominator. I think it has a simulator in there. I haven't really played with it. What about you guys?
Is
What do you guys
so
use?
good that I primarily use Sleeper all off season. And then I think Coop's brought it up before. You get into some best ball to do redraft mocks with a little bit more behind them, right? Then you know that people are going to be taking it seriously as well because there's some money behind it. If you want to do some best ball drafts to get in shape for redraft.
That's what I do for redraft is I do the best balls. If I want to do dynasty mocks, what I do is there's the guys over at JWB, friends of ours, right? Wyatt, BFF, Buffalo, Skylar, the crew, right? Those guys are good dudes. If you follow at the FF Buffalo, Skylar, he has a link there for their Discord, and those guys, I swear, he sends me a link. They send me links like every day. They're doing dynasty mock drafts, startup drafts every single day. So if you jump in their Discord, you can find a mock draft to do with real people that know what they're doing, and that's going to give you a really good look at it. So that's if I in the off season when I do, unless I'm doing like an industry one that I have to do, and I have to do a write up after, which is we do those. I do mine over there because like I trust that to be a good enough mix of people that have differing opinions, but it's also actual people who will care. So jump over, maybe check that out. Those guys, that's a good place to do it.
Yeah, and good guys over there.
Good guys.
Guys, we are about to get into a segment we call Dear Diarrhea, the segment where we make our diary entries, things that we've learned, some lessons we want to take with us into next season or into life, and we're going to share them with each other. John Luke, you want a diarrhea for us first?
I will. But before I do, I just want to hit on this last point that Trenton brought up. It says Sleeper by yourself unless you invite people. We said there's a YouTube where people do redraft mock drafts. We do mock drafts on this channel a lot, especially during the off season. Pretty much all throughout the off season, we usually typically do one per week, and you can hop in those and mock draft with us. I don't know if we're gonna be doing on this show yet. It just depends on timing when we start doing those to where we can show the draft board, but that is something we do in the off season. So definitely hop in there.
Yeah, if enough people want to do one, we'll just do that. That'll forget those JWB guys. We'll just do one here. So
I think my last Dear Diarrhea was actually about this. It was mock drafting every week and how during the off season, how much that made me better and prepared going into this season, this redraft season.
Well, if you guys aren't in the FYF Discord, Obviously,
Gotta be in there.
you guys are all in there. Obviously.
Clearly.
Clearly you are. But if you're not, get in there.
Yeah, that's where you get first access. We post a link in there first, for sure.
Simon
I'll throw a link in there.
Simon and JL and I will all tweet out links to the Discord. So get up in there.
Yeah, my dear diarrhea today. Dear diarrhea, stop waiting on your league mates to send you trade offers. This happens to me every year. I sit back and I wait because I think, you know what? I don't have time. Busy. I got things to do. I can't send trade offers. Every year when that trade deadline comes around, I'm kicking myself, thinking, man, I should have traded more. Now I want to trade. Good timing, JL, you dumb idiot. I'm not doing that this year. I'm sending trade offers out as much as I can. I'm trying to improve my teams. I've mentioned it before, but there are 3 ways that you can improve your team, your fantasy football team. Draft, the waiver wire, trading. Don't ignore 33% of the way that you can improve your team. Don't do it.
And oftentimes the only way that every single player is available. Know what I mean? In the draft, you're beholden to your draft position. If you're drafting from the 12th spot, you're not getting Christian McCaffrey. It's just not happening, right? Free agency depends on who's on the waiver wire. Again, you're not getting Christian McCaffrey on the waiver wire. Trading, it doesn't matter what team he's on. You got a shot. You can try. You can shoot your shot. Every player is available if you can figure out how to make it happen. It's the only method in fantasy football, unless you're doing auction. But like in most leagues, most of us are doing your typical snake draft leagues. It's the only way that you can have access to every single player, that you can build that team that you want.
Right.
And you don't know. The thing is, a lot of people have the mental block of like, oh, they won't accept this trade because in your mind, everyone thinks the same way that you do. You don't know that. So the only way to start, they don't think the way you do. Yeah. The only way to start hashing this out is to throw some trades out there. And then the real best way to do it is open a dialogue. So don't
start
just
talking to them.
Yeah. Don't just throw trades up against the wind. Send the trade and send it with a message, ideally via text or some sort of other messaging app. But even in the app, you can say, hey, just wanted to, throw something out there. Let me know what you think and we can work it out, because they might, I've sent trades out and I've had people get back to me and they're like, oh, I don't want Aaron Jones. I want Kerryon Johnson. And I'm like, you do? Right? Like I send them a trade
all the time.
I send them a trade and the trade I get back is better than the one I sent in the first place. Because, people listen to different channels. There's a lot of different analysts out there. So, start that conversation and start it now, especially because free agency is going to mix everything up. That's why I'm doing an article every single day for the next 32 days, because once that March 13th date hits, things are going to change and start changing quick.
Rapidly. It's going to get different. It's a fun time to trade. Now, JL, we've talked about this. Do you like trading this time of year? Whenever it do you think this is a good time of year value-wise to be trading players, picks? What are you looking at right now?
Yeah, I try to stay away from trading picks at this time of year because I just don't think that either side of it, you're probably going to get peak value. You might be able to trade for it. If you're trading 4 picks, I'm okay with it. But you got to be cognizant of the value here because some people are going to already value picks very highly, close to where their peak is going to be when the rookie drafts come around. But it's most likely that the value of those picks is going to increase as we get closer. That's almost a guarantee. It happens every single year. So I don't have a preference in terms of I like every time of year for trading. I think that each of them just provides a different strategy. But you should be cognizant of where we're at right now.
100% agree with you. I love that Dear Diarrhea, JL.
Thank you.
And I think it's one I'm going to go put into my Dear Diarrhea after this.
Ooh, plagiarism.
I'm going to plagiarize you fully. I'm going to fully plagiarize you, JL. Don't tell the dean.
Who's the dean, Coop?
I don't know. Whoever the dean is. That's whose office you get called into when you plagiarize.
Dean Earndog.
The Dean Earndog.
Dean Earndog's office.
You're
in trouble.
Out. Roof, woof.
I was going to say, he's got a sign on his front door. It doesn't say Dean Earndog. It just says woof, woof on the front door as you walk up.
Earndog's a dean. And I picture Keith as that woodworking teacher that just has half his shirt tucked in. And he's just you show up to woodworking and he's like, we're going to talk politics today. He's just he just gets every year gets fired and they can't find anyone to do it. So they keep bringing him back. And they're like, all right.
Let me tell you about Ayn Rand. I don't know why. That was all I could think of Keith saying.
Yeah. That's
Keith, the libertarian woodshop instructor. That's his new character.
Right. Yeah, he's a woodworking teacher. He's missing like half a pinky. Right.
as all woodworking teachers
any
ought
good
to do.
any good woodworking teacher. Yeah, that's how you know they take their craft seriously.
Yeah, that's experience right there.
100%. Ernie said just blame Chat GPT for everything in woodworking class.
Yeah. Keith says, I have all my pinkies. Thank you very much.
For now.
For now. Yeah.
For now. Oh, is that what you said, JL? And I just said it a little bit louder right after you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just
100%.
now that's what got you sent to the team in the first place. Yeah.
Yeah. Here you go. Back on your same shit.
Add it to my case file, Dean Earn Dog.
Permanent record.
Well, I got a Dear Diarrhea for us. It's not fantasy football related, but it's something that I've really struggled with, and it's a limiting factor in achieving a goal that I've set for myself the past couple of years. It is okay, not only okay, but encouraged to have multiple books going at the same time. You do not need to finish a book before you start another one. In fact, it's encouraged to have multiple books. Why are you forcing yourself? Like sometimes reading, it's hard to motivate yourself to start. It's a high effort task to start, but every time I start, I enjoy it. But then if I say I'm going to read and it's going to be this dense nonfiction book or this light fiction book, maybe I'm not in the mood for light fiction. Maybe I'm not in the mood for dense nonfiction. Maybe I'm in the mood for light nonfiction or heavy fiction, right? You can have 2, 3, 4 books going and then read whichever one you're in the mood for. You're just limiting yourself. You're making it less likely that you're going to read, which is an overall positive for you, if you only have one book going. It is something that I have so much trouble with, though, because I want to finish the book before I start the next one. But
who told you could only read one book at a time, Simon?
Me.
It seems
me and me
to
alone.
be no, it seems to be a lot of people feel that way, dude. Tim Wright, of course, the #1 anti-reader in this
anti-book reader
in this space, comes right in and says, all I heard was you don't need to start a book.
Classic.
Yeah. But you're right, though. It's like sometimes you got to pop open, if you're reading The Road by Cormac McCarthy, and it's
is that the first book you've read in 20 years?
And it's getting a little dark, dude. Sometimes it's okay to take a little break and pop open Calvin and Hobbes. Have a little chuckle. I was trying to think of two. I thought of Calvin and Hobbes first, so I was like, "What's the opposite of Calvin and Hobbes?" The Road.
The Road. Coop's entire reading list is The Road, The Giver, and Calvin and Hobbes comics.
You go to his Goodreads, and there's only one more book on the want to read list, and it's the novelization of the movie of the novel Fight Club.
Yeah. I also play the Queen's Gambit board game, which is just chess.
It's just normal chess.
Yeah.
The Queen's Gambit, the TV show, the board game.
The TV show, the board game. Simon, I love this Dear Diarrhea. I have the opposite problem. I will purchase books willy-nilly. I'll just go on a spree and buy 10, 15. The activation energy for starting a book is so little that I just end up with a giant pile of unread books.
See, but buying the activation energy to buy a book is negative for me. I bought 6 books while we were blinking here. I'll just go on thriftbooks.com.
Yes, while we were all blinking.
While we were all blinking, in the script when it said now everyone blink, in that time period, I bought 6 books. But I have giant stacks of only purchased books. So unless starting them is purchasing them, I haven't started them. There's 20 books I bought that are just sitting on my shelf.
More of a collector.
I'm the same way. They're on my phone though.
But I mean, you do the same thing. People do it with TV shows too, where it's I like to keep a serious show and I like to keep a silly show.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good parallel.
So,
Coop, you got a Dear Diarrhea for us?
Yes, my Dear Diarrhea is I'm gonna go. You guys, one of yours is about fantasy football. One of yours is about not fantasy football. Mine's kind of in between. And this is a lesson I learned myself, and I'm still working on it. Right? It's kind of difficult, but it's about interacting in this space, especially on Twitter. Right? When I first started getting into this, I was like, oh, I could tweet at Adam Schefter. I could tweet at all these people. I came out and I was like, and we all know we're all talking ball. We all know a little bit about ball, and we want to talk about it. I came out hot, and I would go to different people, and I'd be like, "You're wrong, I'm right," blah blah blah. And after a little while, I realized that nobody likes that. Like being the guy that's just like combative all the time. Like I wasn't getting more followers. I spent a long time having 100 followers or like 50 followers. Nobody, if somebody has 20,000 followers and those people followed that person for a reason, and I show up in the comments being like, this guy's stupid, do you think that's going to go well for me? No, it's his audience, it's his comment. I'm just going to look stupid. Eventually, what I started doing is learning how to respectfully disagree with people, right? On Twitter, on Reddit. And I said, hey, you know what? I see what you're saying, but here's what I think, right? Or I would seek out tweets where I did agree. Like instead of me typing in Daniel Jones and looking for positive Daniel Jones takes so I could bash him, I looked for players I liked and I started saying, hey, you know what? I agree. Here's a little more information that I could tack onto your information and we can have a good time. So instead of, being this like combative person on Twitter, wondering why I had all these good takes that turned out to be right and nobody was following me, I realized that I was just pissing people off and I was being super annoying. And there are probably people out there that will never follow me back or never follow me because of how annoying I was back when I was younger on the site. But now I've learned how to interact with people a little bit better. And guess what? I got more followers. My life's a lot easier. I'm making friends. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, the best way to get your stuff seen is to make some friends and have people actually like you. And then they'll like to hear what you're saying. So there's a lot of people out there, I notice every single day, where I'll say something and they'll come in and get all upset and I'll fight with them because I love doing that. But what I should do is I should DM them and be like, hey, by the way, dude, all you're doing is making people not like you, right? Like the reality is I say something and you say something. If you're right, nobody goes back 6 months and says, hey, by the way, you were right. Like if somebody does that to me, I'm just like, cool. Like it doesn't get you anywhere. So learn how to interact with people. Treat it like you would in real life, where you're not going to go up to somebody and say, hey, you're stupid. You're going to say, hey, I think that maybe I can help you. Here's some information that can help you. All right. So that's just a little something out for people out there in this space that are wondering why they continue to like fight with people and have these toxic arguments. Part of it could be the way that you're approaching people. So try and just be a little more reasonable. That's all.
That's a good. It's a good.
Dear Diarrhea, don't be an asshole on Twitter. Love Coop.
Love Coopathy.
Sometimes it's easy as that, man. But it is hard though, because for a long time I was like that, where I was like, you know what, I'm right, and I got to tell them I'm right. That's not all it's about.
No.
Nobody cares whether you're right or wrong.
Right.
That's the truth of it at the end of the day. We got Don in the chat. Said, hey, what up, Don? Said, that's it for sure. 90% of the fantasy football accounts give similar information. You need to give more than fantasy football info.
Donnie, dude, Donnie's
agree with that, Don.
Dude, we got to get Donnie on this show. I sent a clip to Simon already. We have to get Don on here. I know Don. He is a memory athlete, and what he does is amazing. The way he can memorize.
Yo, that is crazy.
Everything. We got to get on here to play some of our games because he would obliterate us.
Yo, Don, you memory palace, bro? You memory palace?
He's a crusher, bro. I've seen him on his Twitch stream, like doing like some of the contests, and it is insanity.
Tell me 3 things.
1, 2, 3.
And then he goes 1, 2, 3 right back at you.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Ta-da!
Sometimes they can't get all 3. He goes, oh yeah.
I've seen the stuff that it is absurd. Yeah. Like whatever you're thinking is a memory competition, multiply the magnitude of it by 50, and that's what they're actually memorizing. Like it's not just like, oh, he said 30 numbers backwards. It's like an entire deck of cards or something just insane.
So Johnny, we'll get you on. Sorry, go ahead.
As I said, I tried to use a memory palace one time. That technique, it was for a pitch for Front Yard Fantasy. It was a pitch competition at FSGA. Immediately abandoned it. Just could not. Like, it did not work at all for me. I was just like, had to memorize the whole thing.
The palace burned to the ground within seconds.
100%.
Yeah, he can crush. So I've been trying to think of a way to get you on, because the games we play probably aren't enough.
We'll make a modified version. We'll figure something out.
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
Tommy in the chat says, crazy respect for that. It makes me wonder what I could have been if not for college. I don't
If
think a
not for
memory. And he
college.
said so many killed brain cells in college. Even with all of those brain cells, Tommy, Google those memory athletes. You might have needed to double them in college instead of halving them to
This
get
is
to
the-
what
just
these
means
guys are doing.
my current brain cells are even stronger.
I don't
Just
think
living built off the dead bodies.
Survival of the
Yeah,
fittest.
exactly.
weeding
That was
out
me
the,
sharpening my mind.
with sharpening your mind with Bud Lights. Dude.
Yeah, bush lattes.
Those brain cells deserve to die. Only the strong brain cells survive in my head.
You can hear me in the corner of the party going shink, shink, shink.
Over there just crushing shotgun a Four Loco. That's eugenics.
I am
That's
even
like the,
stronger now, Jeremy.
That's like the brain cell holocaust.
John Luke, do you have another deer diarrhea for us?
I do. This one, it is simple. It is so simple. It's going to feel like you've heard it time and time again, but it's worth saying again. It's follow the money. Money, please.
Moolah. Yeah.
Because every year, us stupid humans fall for the same trap. We fall for the same trap every single time. We forget that money rules everything. In the NFL, in the world, it's how it works. In the NFL especially, you got to follow the money. You can't listen to coach speak, can't listen to player speak as much. You got to follow what they're saying with their money because that's where their actual resource is. They can say anything. It doesn't cost anything.
Yeah. When you're a kid, like your dad buys you 2 toys, right? And one of them cost $1,000 and the other one cost $100. He's going to steer you towards, he's going to make every attempt to get you to play with that expensive toy first. And if you really truly hate it, then they'll do something about it. They'll sell it to somebody else. But that's, you know what I mean? That's how it's going to go. Right. And so if you're the Jaguars and you pay Christian Kirk a boatload of money, guess what? The coach is going to be sitting there with Christian Kirk looking up at the GM, who's looking up at Shad Khan, the owner. And he's going to be looking down being like, what are you doing with all my money? You know what I mean? Like, let's see this guy play. Right. So JL's right. Like, follow the money. Like, they're good. That dude, at the very least, the money gets you the opportunity. And if the guy's Kenny Galladay, but the money's going to get you on the field. So JL, I'm fully on board with that. That's the great tiebreaker in these instances where it's like, you look at a couple different guys signed by one team. Well, did one of them get a lot more money? Okay. That guy's probably going to be the guy.
James Robinson, it's time and time again. I feel like every year we see this where it's not about talent as much. You got to look at the cost.
I tongue-in-cheek called Christian Kirk the $20 million man all offseason last year. Like, oh, the $20 million man, the $20 million wide receiver. And it turns out he was the $20 million man. He was the $20 million wide receiver. Top 12 for fantasy. He killed it. You would have absolutely killed it if you drafted him in fantasy this year where he was going.
He's a wide receiver 1.
Right?
It's funny how we do that. Like, he's wide receiver 12. So we, instead of saying 12, we say wide receiver 1. Like, where do we draw the line? Like, if he's wide receiver 6, we don't say wide receiver 1. We say who's wide receiver 6. But if he's wide receiver 5, we say he was top 5, right? Like,
I think we only say it for like a wide receiver 1. You only say it for 11 and 12 because otherwise you say a top 10 wide receiver.
Top 10 wide receiver.
8. He was wide receiver 7. He was wide receiver 6. A top 5 wide receiver.
Wide receivers 5 and 4 are top 5 wide receivers, but wide receiver 3 is top 3.
100%.
And wide receiver 2 is not top 3. He's the second best wide receiver in the league.
Yeah.
Wide receiver 7, I think he's wide.
He's in there.
You just say wide
Top
receiver
10.
7 in that case. That sounds nice.
If you say wide receiver 1, you're either talking about a streak for a player, like he's been a wide receiver 1 5 years in a row, or you're talking about the wide receiver 11 or 12 on that year.
The most meaningless the most meaningless label of all time is when someone says, "Oh, he's a wide receiver 2 with wide receiver 1 upside." You know how many any given year there's 40 guys that are wide receiver 2s with wide receiver 1 upsides, according to even me. If you look at my rankings, there's 24 guys that are in my top that are wide receiver 2s, but I'll pick a good 30 something people that I consider wide receiver 2 with wide receiver 1 upside.
When I was putting together my wide receiver tiers going into the season, it was like, okay, the top couple guys, the next couple guys, a tier of 20. Like all of a sudden, just that next tier, there was no separation between like 20 guys.
Did you make a stinky? Did you make a stinky? I think so.
You talking Maria?
Yeah, talking to Maria. You make a stinky, go clean yourself up.
Did Rosie make a stinky fart, Jay?
I don't know. She just came in here. I guess I just woke up and she smells like butt right now.
She has. Is there like a dog door? Or how does she get in there?
Maria opened the door.
Oh, that was nice of Maria to
The human door.
let the pup in.
Yeah. I think it was just to stink bomb me. My God. By the way, I have an update on grandma pizza. Apparently, my great grandma's straight up Brooklyn Italian woman, immigrant. She said, my mom said, grandma pizza is exactly what she would make. She'd make it in a square pan with anchovies and cut it with scissors.
Dude, that's literally exactly what Wikipedia described, dude. And I mentioned the scissors. When I said scissors, because I mentioned the scissor pizza at the place near me, and Tommy immediately goes, "You would like grandma pizza." I don't know why grandma pizza has to be cut with scissors, but apparently
that's so weird.
Yeah, I will say, dude, when they brought the pizza out with the scissors, I was like, me and my dad were like, "What the heck is going on?" We had a blast cutting, just like, this is the piece I want right here, exactly. We went off the rails. We weren't cutting squares at a certain point. We were just like, I want this pepperoni, and we were like cutting around it. Like, it is kind of
it turned into like an arts and crafts project, not lunch.
We weren't doing it right, that's for sure. But when you're putting the leftovers away, being able to cut it into the right size is kind of cool.
I've used kitchen scissors to cut an oven pizza before. Know what I mean? Like I make a tombstone pizza, take it out, pizza roller's dirty. I just grab the kitchen scissors out of that knife block and cut it up.
Sizz it up, dude. It's kind of nice, man. It's kind of nice.
I am going to request that you never say sizz it up.
Sizz it up, dude. That's the name of the place where we get the pizza.
Sizz it up.
It's actually called Citizen Crust, but I'm going to call it Sizz it up from now on.
And the other side of the store is also called Sizz it up, but they make soda and they make that stuff sizzle.
Oh, that's actually Fizz it up.
Ah, fizz it up. That's the word I was looking for. You see, in my mind, fizzle and sizzle became one word.
We made it.
A sizzle.
Sizzle. Is that like a just a complete mockery of the 90s faux shizzle?
That's that's Snoop Dogg soda and pizza place.
Sizzle.
Yeah.
Jason Coop cutting animal shapes into his pizza.
Yeah, cutting grimace shaped pizzas.
Every single time.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely check that out, man. A little grandma pizza, a little grandma pie.
Will do. Coop, do you have one more Dear Diarrhea for us, or is that it for your diarrhea today?
I do have one, but you have to go first.
Okay.
Fine.
Dear Diarrhea, make an event out of watching football. The season is long, and sometimes around week 12, 13, 14, Sunday hits and you can start thinking, maybe I don't need to catch all the games, or, oh, it's Sunday Night Football. I'll turn on something else while we're watching. Make it an event, because every single time, if you just have something that you're planning for it, it doesn't have to be an elaborate event. Make a dip. Know what I mean? Put a pizza in the oven. Have something. Make a dip. Make a casserole or make another dip. Have an event or a thing that signifies now I'm watching football, and now this is this event, because it makes it a little bit more fun during the entire season if it's not just sitting down to watch football. If you've got that thing that's elevating it above sitting on the couch to watch Netflix, right? Besides it being football. Why is this different than just sitting on the couch? We're sitting down to watch football on purpose. I got my dip. I got my pizza. I got my friends, whatever it is. If it's going to a bar, know what I mean? That's fun as well. If it's inviting friends over, just make something out of it instead of just watching football.
I like that, Simon. I like that a lot. I feel like there's always like a level of excitement whenever it's like, oh, I got to go get some beers for the game, or I got to go pick up this food for the game. It's
right.
Like makes it, for some reason, taste better, makes it feel better. Everything's
when
better.
You're at the grocery store right before, like there's 45 minutes till kickoff. You got
all that junk food
in your hand,
and all that junk food in your cart, and you're like, that's for the game, you know?
People ask you having a party? Nope. It's just me and my dog sitting on the couch eating 3 party-sized bags of Doritos.
Party of 3.
Oh, and the the snacks I come up with on game day, I feel like are always just a little bit ludicrous. Like I'll go to the grocery store and be like, I'm making cheese fries. And then as I'm going down the aisles, I'm like, you can put Doritos on cheese fries, right? Like it just, as you go around, just the concoction, the creation becomes odder and odder and odder. With a D, not a T.
Yeah, I thought you were saying T.
No, not the little
Otter,
river
otter,
animal.
otter.
What sound does an otter make?
Ah.
Well, you guys were both pretty close, so I guess that must be the sound they
Gotta
make.
be it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Otters are cute, but I heard they smell terrible. That's
That's what they say about me too.
cute, smells terrible.
Smells absolutely awful.
Who you talking about otter smells with, Coop?
I saw it.
Who do you know that sniffed an otter?
I saw it on Reddit because somebody was like, I think it was a question about like what jobs do people think they want but they don't want, and then one of the top answers was working at a zoo, where like everyone's like, oh, I would love to work at a zoo, but the smells are terrible, and apparently otters are one of the worst smelling animals. Like the people that work at zoos are like, the otters are the worst because they're just like oily and fishy, and they their diet is disgusting. So like,
Coop
not
is
cool.
a certified otter sniffer.
Well, yeah, certified, dude. I'm more of an otter sniffer in theory because I've never done it, but I've pretty well learned on it from my internet travelings. So
Everything Coop has learned about animals comes from the Zookeeper movie with Kevin James.
pretty much, and everything I learned about being a security guard,
God, that movie
I also
existed.
learned from Kevin James.
So it's basically a sequel to Paul Blart, but not a sequel to Paul Blart.
But he works at the zoo instead.
Yeah, pretty
Can
sure
we-
he rides a Segway.
There should just be an entire series of movies. Kevin James on a Segway doing a different job.
Just a different character, different job. Yeah, I like that. It's
Parking booth attendant. The Segway scenes are pretty short in that one.
like the Segway riding Mike Rowe of blockbuster
Dirty
movies.
jobs.
Yeah,
But it's just jobs that can be done on a Segway, rolling
Yeah.
jobs.
not even on a Segway, but just that you can use a Segway in between you're doing your jobs.
That a Segway is involved. Segway adjacent career paths. Paul Blart, Mall Cop.
100%.
That's when you know you've made it, dude. When you
Hey, when's that Kevin James Sean Payton movie coming out?
I mean, they're gonna have to. Do they scrap it now that he's back, or they just do the?
There's another movie where he's doing a different job. He's a football coach.
He's a football coach. Yeah.
They got to have a Segway in that movie.
minimum?
Dustin saying coaching the Saints on a Segway. And Albert in here saying, good
Down
morning.
the
What's up,
sideline.
Albert?
Albert.
I see Nick in here. What's up, Nick? Welcome in. Oh, and
Hey,
Dustin said,
Nick.
it's been out, JL. Where you been?
It's horrible. That's what he said.
First of all, he
That's
didn't say
horrible.
where you been.
Pete,
Ouch.
Pete Carroll rides. We've seen him riding around on a cart all over the place. He's kind of Segway adjacent. Not as weird as a Segway.
Pete Carroll strikes me as one of those like he'd be riding around those bicycles with like the comically huge front wheel and the really little back wheel from like the 1910s.
With like a monocle in.
Chewing
What
his
are those
gum.
called? Those are called like penny cycles or something like that, right? A
Penny
penny
cycles.
a
Penny
penny cycle.
flushers.
No, that is not what it's called. Big wheel, little wheel bike is what I'm going to Google.
Big
Big
wheel.
wheel.
Penny.
Keep
It
on
is a penny
turning.
farthing. I was not that far
Penny
off.
farthing.
A penny
Yes.
farthing, also known as the high wheeler, or ordinary, was an early type of bicycle. What I want to know is like, if this was an early type of bicycle, like
Why'd
my
they start
my default would be wheels are the same size.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
like that. That's where I would begin. Not like
It's
what if
let's put them on different ends of the spectrum and see what happens.
one very large wheel and one very little.
Was it a
wheel.
joke? Or was he like fully bought into like some hypothesis that it was better?
My guess is the unicycle came first, and then somebody was like,
We got to
"Oh,
top this.
what if I put this other little wheel here? Then you get more balance." And they just didn't even think about two wheels of the same size until much later.
I was thinking that they started with the little wheel.
So-
Unicycles is the little wheel. Like, what if we had a big wheel?
It had two big benefits, is what I'm reading.
Ergonomic.
High
Were they-
speeds, because there was a large rotational air, like one pedal, you could freaking fly on one of those big wheel bicycles. And then the other one was comfort. Apparently, the large wheel provides greater shock absorption. They didn't have great shocks at that point in time, so the large wheel made it a little comfier when you were sitting on there. But it does say it became completely obsolete by the 1880s, even though it was invented in the 1870s and 1880s with the development of bicycles, modern bicycles.
Just
someone
normal
just,
two-wheel, equal-size wheel bicycles.
I was in Portland, Oregon for a weekend, and I saw 2 different people riding one of those. Not even just one, 2. One of them was a clown.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
I swear to God, bro. They do this thing in Portland where like groups of people will just get dressed up and ride bikes. Like I saw it, maybe it was there for a weird weekend or something, but they were just like riding around, dude, being like, keep Portland weird. And I'm like, right.
Ride bikes.
I'm like, hell yeah.
Super
Dude.
weird.
I was kind of drunk. I was like, I like this. I don't know what I'm saying.
Portland sounds literally like a Portlandia sketch. Like every story somebody has of Portland sounds like they just watched an episode of Portlandia and came in and told me about it.
Portland, Maine?
Portland,
Oregon.
Not Portland, Maine. Portland, Oregon. Like they're just people just being weird.
I don't
100%.
You never said Oregon, but whenever you started talking about people on penny farthing bicycles driving around and one of them was a clown, I was so positive you were talking about Oregon.
Yeah, exactly. You would have been your first guess.
I just knew it.
Yeah. So with my last year diarrhea is something my buddy showed me. He sent me this, and now I can't find it. That's why I was looking for this. Like it was like a speech by this guy, and it's excellent. But the main takeaway is the word "good," right? And the way that it's kind of changed my life because I think about the things that I can and can't control in my life. It's like worry about the things that you can control, and the things that are outside of your control. Sometimes they're horrible, and sometimes they change your life. But it's not something you can control, so you just got to move on. And the word "good" is a big part of that. Basically, the guy says as long as you're breathing, and you can say the word "good," then everything's okay. Then you can move on to the next thing. Right? Like you'll say, didn't get that job interview. Good. Now you can work harder. Now you can take your game to the next level. Right? Lost the game. Good. Now you can get better for the next time. As long as you're still alive and can say the word "good," then you can keep moving forward and keep getting better. Right? If you're dead and can't say "good," well, then I guess that's the end of it. But it's changed the way I think about things after hearing this explanation of a way to look at life, which is, as long as it's not over, then you're still in it. Good. Like good. Let's move on. Right. So makes me feel a lot better about things, especially things that are outside of my control. Because if you get too worked up about things you can't control, then you're going to go crazy because there's no way to fix it if you can't control it. And things you can't control, good. Take care of them yourself. So keep that in the back of your mind. Good. Jocko, oh, there it is. Jocko Willink talk. So Mr. Scampers has seen it before. Jocko, check out Jocko Willink. Good. It is awesome. I recommend everyone to check that out.
I'm with you, Coop. My dad used to say something very similar to me growing up. It was, it'll all work out in the end. If it's not working out, then it's probably not the end. Which was like, it didn't downplay what was going on at the time. Know what I mean? Which is part of like, sometimes I listen to these and I'm like, people are really struggling. Like, it's okay to say it's not okay right now. Know what I mean? Like, you're allowed to say like, this sucks. But the idea that like, it sucks, but there's the next thing. There's still the thing after it. Whatever it is, there's always the thing after. Keeps me motivated. And that not worrying about things out of your control thing, I practice that while driving, because that's a very good time to like get in the practice of like applying this every single day, because there are thousands and thousands and thousands of moving machines that are completely out of your control that you're just reacting around. Try not to let them affect your mood. Just exist around them. Let them make their own decisions, cut you off, honk at you, and try not to let it affect your mood, because that's a great time to practice. You got to apply it right there on the spot. And it's hard, man.
It's good advice. It's good advice. I love how sometimes we get like on a serious bend in the show. Like the one time we were answering Reddit and we were just telling him like actual anti-fighting techniques.
Don't fight.
We were like, what's the best way to fight? We were like, no, don't fight.
And when we get serious for a second, I always have trouble like keeping it serious. Like just now, Simon said something that sounded like the word otter again. And I was just sitting here. I'm
I had
like,
to fight back the
I'm
ears
like,
to
let
point
him-
it out.
let him talk. I don't know what you said in there, but all I heard was otter, and I was off the rails again.
So, guys, Tommy said, just don't forget you control the car. And I'm pretty sure that was in response to me, but I'm going to be honest. I have entirely forgotten what I just said. It has left my brain. I was sitting here thinking, car. What were we talking
Derek
about with
Carr,
the car?
David Carr.
Once you said otter, I was off.
So no one here is aware of what traffic. Does that get us closer? Anybody traffic? Does that ring any bells about what we were talking about?
I don't know.
It's lost.
It's gone.
It's gone forever.
There's-
People pushing
there's
you
no
off
way-
in the car. Oh,
There's-
keeping your cool while you're in the car.
Yeah.
There's no
It's out of
way there's no way for anyone to possibly ever go back and find this unless they were maybe subscribed to our YouTube channel or a Better Sports member where you can go back and watch all the old shows on the Better Sports Network, not just our show, but you can watch Moose and Keith again. You can watch whatever the heck Nando does these days. Like you can go back and watch all that on the app. Can you not, boys?
Oh, you can.
Yeah.
And you can check it out on our YouTube channel as well, like you mentioned, Coop, at Front Yard Fantasy. Find this. And
By the way, before we go on to the next thing, my mom's coming in with a story. She's reminding me of all stories today. We were talking about the weird bicycle thing, right?
Yeah.
And then she reminded me of the story about when I was in Seattle. I was living in Seattle, and my parents were in town visiting. So we went to this little neighborhood, Fremont, and we're driving in the car, and I'm sitting in the back seat. All of a sudden, giant parade of bicyclers come by. They're all naked. And I'm in the car with my parents, and I lose it laughing.
That's
I
the
was
best.
cracking up. And I think he's got I did take a picture and post it on Instagram way back in the day. I think he's got it for us. He's going to pull it up in a second.
wait,
here,
a
but
picture of hundreds of nude bikers. Are we allowed to show that?
just a few of them, I think.
Oh, if it's only a few penises, that's fine.
yeah. No, there's no
Think-
peach. There's no peen in this. You'll see once you see it.
We got a 3 peach on a bike limit on this show.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. That's a reasonable number. Tommy said, "How does the bicycle seat work out?" I imagine not well.
Comfortably.
Get those pages up, dude. What's going on? What's the hold up?
We'll see if we can get it
Yeah,
up.
he'll bring it up in a bit.
It might take a second. JL, I have had I had an experience where all of a sudden I was surrounded by like 300 bikers, but none of them were naked, and it was a bit of an overwhelming experience. They were all clothed. Like,
Right.
I was just
Adds
I was
another element.
I was standing with the car while Leanne and Rebecca went to go to a shop. They walk away and then immediately,
There it is.
Ooh. Oh, I see just one naked guy.
The other ones are, I think people will do like partially nude participation.
Except for that guy. He was
Except for
ready
that guy, he
for
went
it.
all in. He went all in. Yeah,
Did
he
you
waits
get
for
any
this year
answers
round.
on what the event was?
it's like a famous or not famous thing. It's like a big thing that they do. I don't remember what it's called.
Where
It's a
was
long
it?
time ago.
That you saw it?
Seattle.
Sounds right.
Yeah,
It's called the Ride Your Bike Naked Parade.
yeah. It's right. It's Portland's hat, basically.
Well, guys, coming up, we got some more games we're going to play. We're going to hand out some superlatives. We're going to play some Feeling Lucky Punk. And then we're going to get into some Sell Me This Pen as well. Right now, you're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Front Yard Fantasy with Simon, JL, and Coop.
Sell me on doing away with the 2-conference system in the NFL.
Is it really a sale whenever this is something that's commonly agreed upon? I'm selling you on water being wet. I'm selling you on something that is objectively true right here. We look at teams at the end of the season and we go, how the hell does one team have such an easy schedule while another team is just absolutely getting obliterated? And that's because of the 2-conference system, because the division system feeds into this conference system. It's a symptom of the greater problem. Like these divisional matchups, you're telling me it's fair that the Buccaneers are in the playoffs after playing the Panthers twice, the Falcons twice, and the Saints twice this year? That is unbelievable. There are multiple more deserving teams every single year that because of this system where we silo them into random groups, it determines the order. And yes, originally this was geography based, right? We had these divisions, they were geography. It's 2023, my dudes. Geography doesn't matter whenever it comes to the size of the United States. These teams can travel anywhere. They don't need to geographically locate them in divisions or conferences to make the games make more sense. If USC can be in the Big Ten, why the hell can't Miami play San Francisco every year? It can happen. They've got more money than these colleges and they're not taking classes. All it does is create an ecosystem where less talented teams can get rewarded for playing in weaker divisions and more talented teams are punished for continuing to improve.
Damn, bro.
Drop the mic.
I like to picture some geography teacher out there just threw a pen on the ground. He was like, how dare you? He smacked the globe. He was like, what do you
all
mean?
the hard work we've done.
2023 geography doesn't matter, right? Smacks his
You know
globe.
how long it took for us to get respect?
Globe goes spinning around, right? Geography doesn't matter. How dare
I'm
you?
just imagining they ripped on the world map and underneath is algebra 2. Like they just go straight into being a math teacher.
Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray. Weekdays at noon Eastern, presented by FantasyGuru.com.
Paper straws. Oh, they're so bad. Ray, I mean, I'm almost tempted to say screw Mother Earth. Give me a real straw. The paper straw thing is a step too far in saving the planet for me.
It's a great idea. The problem is it has to last. Like, it can't go mushy halfway through my drink.
That's
And
the
I think
problem.
That's the problem. They have a hard time standing up if you don't drink that
100%.
drink.
That's my issue, Ray. I'm all for taking care of the only planet we got. But, Ray, some people like to drive a lot. I don't. I don't get on them for they have to drive 20 minutes to work every day. Can I just get a plastic straw? Like, I think, Ray, we should be able to pay for a card that says, I don't drive every day, so they said I could have this kind of environmental impact by getting a plastic straw. I am in favor, Ray, of government-issued plastic straws if I have the proof that I'm worthy of such a thing. If you want it, you get it. It's kind of like the Clear Pass. You know,
Yeah,
at the
there you go.
airport.
Okay.
Like, Ray, I'd be willing to pay an extra $2 a year, and I get as many plastic straws as I want when I go out to the restaurant.
And the $2 goes toward cleaning the oceans or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's not a terrible idea. Not terrible.
Call, chat, enter contests in real time. It's Sports Talk 3.0 with Better Sports Network.
Oi! What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. We're deep into February at this point, almost a whole week in, February 6th. And we're about to get into some superlatives that we're handing out today. Most likely to remember the date, me. Most likely to be president, John Luke. Most likely to get their hair cut, Coop a Fiasco. Yeah, show it off. Show it off. Show off that fresh cut. Guys, we're going to be handing out superlatives. Think high school yearbook style. We are going to name some categories, and all of us are going to nominate a potential player, coach, and or person outside of that realm to win this award. We'll throw those in the chat over on our YouTube channel at Front Yard Fantasy to vote on. You guys can vote on which one you think should be the winner of that superlative. Before we get into that, though, I want to remind everyone that we are sponsored by our friends over at Lucra, redefining friendly competition. You can compete in the games you play and the sports you watch with Lucra. You download that app right now, create a contest, and compete against your friends in as little as 15 seconds. Click that link right below me. Use promo code BSN, and you are going to get $10 to play with, plus 100% deposit match up to $100. So download the app. Link is right here, or at Better Sports Network. You can find it there as well. Sign up. You guys ready to get into some superlatives?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Most likely to ride a bicycle naked would be Joey Wright. He's saying in the chat, he said, I've done the nude bike ride at Fantasy Fest in Key West. I mean, I have a friend who did the Fantasy Fest nude bike ride.
Naughty.
Joey rode tandem.
Were you top or
but
bottom?
There was only one seat. He was standing on the,
or on the, what do you call them?
The pegs.
Pegs.
Yeah, the pegs.
He was,
yeah.
he was on the
too. His little booty all
imagine
together.
Imagine riding the bike and you got Joey sitting naked on the handlebars.
Just legs up.
Oh,
He's giving you directions. Left.
Just biggest smile on his face, just giggling.
Let's get into some of these. You ready?
All right, guys. Our first superlative: least likely to succeed on a new team. Least likely to succeed on a new team. Coop, we should start off our nominations. Say, who are you nominating to be least likely to succeed on a new team?
Least likely to succeed on a new team. For that one, I'm gonna have to go with Dalton Schultz as my answer. This is a guy who, if I had to give an award out for if this superlative was most likely to be Austin Hooper, I'd pick Dalton Schultz because it's literally his best comparable
Over
player.
Austin Hooper?
Austin Hooper is the second most Austin Hooper player in the league. Because
Wow.
Dalton Schultz is currently the most Austin Hooper player, where it's his best comparable player on Player Profiler. He's been in a high octane offense that's essentially top 5 in pass attempts every single year. So he's not particularly athletic, buoyed pretty heavily by volume. And somebody's going to pay him a ton of money, which is exactly what happened to Austin Hooper. 2019, the Falcons threw literally 50 more passes than any other team. Austin Hooper obviously caught a bunch of them. The Browns paid him way too much money. And then it turned out that Austin Hooper is just a pretty good tight end. Like, he's not like amazing or anything. So when you go into a low volume offense, not as good. So Dalton Schultz is the most likely to be the next Austin Hooper award, which makes him the most likely to not be as good on his next team than he is on this team for me.
I like that one, Coop. Dalton Schultz nominated for least likely to succeed on a new team. Simon, who are you nominating?
I'm going a slightly different route here, and I'm going to take the Rams' new offensive coordinator, Mike LaFleur, who was not successful on his old team in New York, having some of the worst offenses. Even had a player, Garrett Wilson, call him out indirectly, though, and say the other teams know what plays we're going to run. We know what we're going to do. This just seems like such a bizarre hire for this Rams offense to bring Mike LaFleur in there. That team is struggling. This was a very down year for him. Seems like a bad hire, a bad coach in a bad position on a team that doesn't have the capital to make it better soon. Mike LaFleur is not going to find success on a new team.
Ooh, I like that one. Mike LaFleur.
Seems like if his brother, if he wasn't related to Matt LaFleur, I'm not sure he'd be getting all these jobs, Simon. So I'm with you. I think they're trying to do a little bit of
they can't figure that out.
they're trying to do a little bit of a John Harbaugh, Jim Harbaugh here.
You were Mike.
It's the problem is it's like on all the fantasy platforms. Whenever they're going through resumes, it just says M LaFleur.
Like, yeah, we want that. Click, and then you end up with Dustin Hopkins instead of DeAndre Hopkins, and you're like, oh,
Exactly.
Jesus.
Or David Johnson instead of the other David Johnson.
You're trying to draft.
I hate when that happens.
You're trying to draft Jameson Williams, but you drafted Jamal Williams, but it actually worked out really well for you because he scored 18 touchdowns.
Not the Jamal Williams part, but that first initial on fantasy platforms is such a pet peeve of mine. Drives me nuts.
Fix it. Change it.
I tried, man. They don't listen. All right, for me, I'm gonna nominate a player. I kind of want to go Zach Wilson here.
But he's going to be on the same team, remember? He's the backup for the Jets.
But I just like the thought that like he's not gonna succeed anywhere. Not his current team or his new team. I'm gonna go with the player who is very near and dear to my heart.
No.
And that player is Kirk Cousins.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. No,
So
I think Kirk Cousins is very much helped by the system that he is in. I don't think that he would succeed very well on another team. In fact, we've seen him on another team in Washington, and he was exactly as mediocre, if not below average, as he's been. So
that's a good
Kirk
one.
Cousins.
Coop and I both pick players or coaches that are on new teams, are going to be on new teams, and Jail's like, I see an opportunity to throw shade at Kirk Cousins. I take an opportunity to throw shade at Kirk Cousins.
Yeah,
it's like you could also mention that whatever team he goes to would not have Justin Jefferson, which is going to be bit of a
it's going to be a bummer for him. Yeah,
bit of a bummer, right? Like Justin Jefferson, say what you will, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, TJ Hawkinson, Dalvin Cook, wherever, if he were to get traded right now, I don't know of very many teams that have anything even close to that. Right?
That's what I'm saying.
It's not.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe like a Dallas.
I mean, they don't have an Adam Thielen even. And
that's true.
They don't have TJ Hawkins. They don't have a Justin Jefferson. Nobody has a Justin Jefferson. Let's
they have a CeeDee Lamb.
The Bengals maybe. But I mean, then you're talking Hayden Hurst versus
TJ Hawkins.
Would you rather have? Okay, so let's say Jefferson and Chase are a wash. Higgins is a plus over Thielen, right? But Hurst is a big downgrade from Hawkins.
And the third in Cincinnati is better than the third in Minnesota. So you've got Higgins and Boyd and Hurst, or KJ Osborne, Adam Thielen, and TJ Hawkinson. Now it's a question.
Now the real problem, of course, is that in what universe, what tragedy would cause the Bengals to with Joe Burrow at quarterback under a contract where they can pick up his 5th-year option to trade for Kirk Cousins and be like, nah, this is the guy.
Joe Burrow accidentally hits the wrong button on the Men in Black memory wiper.
Yeah.
In that situation, yeah.
35-year-old Kirk Cousins and how many first-round picks for Joe Burrow, right? Like, what's that trade look like?
I think it would be the city of Minnesota. Oh, the city of Minnesota is what I said. But the entire state of Minnesota plus Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. All your riches, all your gold.
Cincinnati and Minnesota Bengals is their new name.
So yeah, that's not happening.
And then it's just the Vikings.
So safe to say, Kirk Cousins is the best place for Kirk Cousins' value is where he is right now.
Tommy said the Raiders, Adams, Waller, Jacobs, and then said, oh no, Kirk to the Raiders.
Oh God. That'd be funny. I would want it just for the funniness. All right, guys. Well, we got nominations here. We got Dalton Schultz. This is for who should win least likely to succeed on a new team.
Dalton Schultz.
Dalton Schultz, Mike LaFleur, and Kirk Cousins are all nominated.
I do not like the way Kirk Cousins came out like that.
It doesn't sound good in that. There's a few names that sound great in the English accent. Dalton Schultz is one of my favorite. Tyler Higbee.
Blinders.
Kirk Cousins is no.
Kirk's
That is
not good.
That is not a British name. You cannot be British and be named Kirk.
It's not really that great in English.
No, it's not.
American.
It's not a good name.
Anyway,
well, if it isn't Tyler Higbee.
Tyler Higbee, Harry Potter. All right, let's get into our next superlative here, guys.
Tyler Higbee picking up Bryce at a well. Sorry, go on.
Your next superlative is most likely to host a slumber party.
Ooh.
Simon, you're nominating first on this one. What are you going with?
Most likely to host a slumber party. Okay, so this has got to be a guy that I know likes to play games because that's what you do at a slumber party, right? Otherwise, you would just be inviting your friends over to hang
say
out.
Jamal Williams.
I'm not going to say Jamal Williams. I'm not going to say Jamal Williams.
One Jamal Williams and one Dan Campbell per person. All right. If you pick Jamal Williams for this one, you can't pick him for any other ones.
I'm going with a guy that's probably staying home a little bit right now. He just hurt his toe a little bit, and he's already got a group he's inviting over for his sleepover. Myles Garrett and the Browns have a Dungeons and Dragons group that they play with. He hurt his toe. He can't go out exercising. He's inviting his buddies over, and they're playing Dungeons and Dragons all night long in Myles Garrett's basement is what's going on.
I just picture them sitting at like one of those, and even though he's super rich, sitting at one of those like garbage card tables with like the folding chairs. He's got his foot up, right? And he's like,
he's a total control freak.
All of their knees keep banging on the table because they're these giant human beings.
Monsters.
Myles Garrett's the smallest one there.
Yeah, he plays like a fairy character or something, like a just a minor, super small character.
Yeah, he's like a little tiny like female wood elf.
I'm Myles Garrett, the wood elf.
Pixie magic.
So all right, so you're going Myles Garrett. I love that, Simon. And by the way, it was a 3-way tie for the last one, so there is no winner on that one. And so you went with Myles Garrett. Coop, who are you going with? Who are you nominating this one?
Well, you're actually next because I went first last time.
Well, you go first this time.
Okay, change up the order. Think that's fine. That's fair. You can do whatever you want.
Or you can type the polls in the FYF
if
you want.
You're the host of the game. No big deal.
You can host the game.
All right. I will go with a born gamer, a natural gamer, and he's having a LAN party. He's having everybody over. It's Kyler Murray, dude. Kyler Murray, double points weekend Call of Duty LAN party, though he probably would be the person that like he'd have you over, but then like he realized that like having everybody on the same internet is kind of slowing it down. So then he'd send you home. He'd be like, no, it's better if we can still play together. You just go back to your house and we'll all just play online. So Kyler Murray, worst sleepover ever, but I think he would be the kind of guy that would at least initiate it. So give me
Or he invites everyone over and they just watch him play Xbox. Yeah. Like he's the kind of guy that like invites over, like, yeah, like you want to play Xbox here, just watch me.
Trey McBride.
Oh my God. Everybody had that one of those friends.
Yeah. Trey McBride is like, he's holding a controller that's not even plugged in. And he's like, no, you're that guy. Like you're pointing at.
They keep calling him Trey McKitty
the whole time.
McKitty, you're that. They're pointing at. It's like Sonic, and you're pointing at the little other guy on the screen. And like, no, that's you right there. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry. I
And
I
he's
pull
like-
that move with my cousin all the time.
I didn't
growing
jump.
up.
He's not jumping.
No, he's jumping. You got to hit it harder.
My mom would be like, "Can you please set up Halo for Willie so he can play the Xbox?" And I'm like, "No,
No, nobody
he
wanted
can
you.
watch me play, or he cannot play at all. Those are his options."
Nobody wants Trey here.
I like that
I
one,
like-
Coop.
That's a good one. Kyler Murray. We got Myles Garrett. I'm gonna go with a good one. I'm gonna go with Brock Purdy. And it feels like Brock Purdy. His mom's gonna be there. He's making the bagel bites. The pizza bites. Bagel bites is right. Bagel bites. She's bringing down the Tostinos, the Mountain Dew. Just happy that Brock finally has some friends to play with.
Who
And it
would
was
actually
like the
show
first
up?
thing he did.
Who's going to show up?
Kittle would show up. A bunch of his teammates would show up. They'd show up for sure.
Who's not?
Brandon
gonna
Ayuk
show
would
up?
be there. Brandon Ayuk's going to be there.
Ayuk
for
would be
sure.
there. Debo didn't show up though. He's too cool for that.
He is kind of too cool. He is.
Drew Lock didn't show up. It really hurt his feelings watching the success Brock Purdy was having.
Kyle Juszczyk
Yeah,
would be
in,
there.
in Seattle. Yeah.
They
He's
definitely
like,
just
"Come on."
they sit around and talk trash about Jimmy G and Trey Lance.
And Jimmy G's there also talking trash about Jimmy G and Trey Lance.
He's like, yeah, screw those guys.
Stink.
Handsome. Who even needs handsome?
All right, I'm throwing the poll up with the nominations in the chat. Who should win most likely to host a slumber party? Myles Garrett, Kyler Murray is his name, or Brock Purdy. So throw your votes in the chat. See who win. We got Jay in here. So Giants made it to the same round as the Bills. I have no idea what he's talking about.
I think it was in response to some of the comments before that.
That would make sense.
Is the chat
They go
getting
in
rowdy?
order.
You guys getting rowdy in there?
Chat stays rowdy.
They do. Chat's undefeated.
I don't know. I can't read the chat. It's too hard. Let's get into our next superlative. While the chat votes on that one, our next superlative is who is most likely to win, most likely to catfish in the offseason?
I need that one again.
Yeah.
Which player is most likely to catfish in the offseason? Not just player. Which person is most likely to catfish
To
in
catfish
the
or
offseason?
to be catfish?
To catfish.
Catfish
To
someone
be
else.
the catfisher.
Yeah. Fisherman or woman.
I mean, are we allowed to pick Manti Te'o?
He got catfished. He was
No.
the other way.
He's seen it.
That man was hurt.
He's seen it firsthand. He's seen it firsthand. He knows how it works.
So I guess I'm going first on this one. Most likely to catfish someone. I'm gonna go with Leonard Fournette.
If you pick,
Because Leonard Fournette's so tired of being a 40-year-old man. He's been a 40-year-old man his whole life. He wants to be someone else.
Since he was 6, that dude's been 40.
He came out of the womb bald with a full beard. He just wants to be someone else for once.
He got a mortgage for his 5th birthday. Just like
He refinanced for
30
6.
years.
30 years.
yeah, I'm
Is
gonna
that the
go.
The sole reason is because he looks 40, because he's been 40 forever.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
Kind of makes sense though, if you don't think about it. All right, Coop, who are you going with? Who are you nominating?
I'm going with Tyler Huntley, and it's just because I've seen Tyler Huntley's actually super funny. I've seen
Pretends to be Lamar.
I've seen him on. Yeah, one time I saw a clip of him on his like picture on his Instagram, and he literally just like snuck up and took a picture of Lamar from the back. This was like 2 years ago. Took a picture of Lamar from the back, and
He
he was
whispered,
like,
"I got you."
yeah, the caption was like, about to take this man's job. Like, just so funny, dude. But now he's actually twice in a row he's played for him. He went to the Pro Bowl this year. Now there's all these contract situations. Like I could see like Tyler Huntley already being like, yeah, I'm the quarterback of the Ravens. Like just online pretending he's Lamar Jackson. So give me Tyler Huntley. He's already got half the accolades there. So give me Huntley. Pro Bowl quarterback. Tyler Huntley.
I just pulled a Simon and completely forgot what I had said.
Leonard Fournette.
Thank you. Okay.
And I'm gonna go with
Tyler Huntley.
I'm gonna go with another quarterback. This one very recently retired, but there is no way on earth Tom Brady would dare unretire again. But what if Tim Brody made an appearance in the NFL? He doesn't just catfish one
Tim
person, he
Brody.
catfishes the entire country, coming back and starting for the San Francisco 49ers next year as Tim Brody. Definitely not Tom Brady.
The avatar he uses is just one of those like face mashups between him and Adrian Brody.
Yeah,
Tim
it's
Burton.
like a big fake nose. He pulls a Leon Sandcastle.
Who's
He-
Leon Sandcastle?
You never seen those commercials? That was
Um,
there were some commercials with like Deion Sanders where he like showed up to the combine as and they're like
Oh yeah.
they're like, who are you? And he's like, I'm Leon
Leon
Sandcastle.
Sandcastle's such a good name.
Fake Deion.
Whoever came up with that is just perfect.
Yeah, and he's got like the
Leon Sandcastle.
mustache. Yeah, he's like, I'm not Deion Sanders, I'm Leon Sandcastle.
You know that last name? They played around with the last name forever. They came to Leon instead of Dion pretty quickly, and they were like, how do we play Sanders?
Yeah,
They came up
that
with
was the first
1,000
thing they did.
ideas for Sanders. And then one day, like, they've been there for hours. Somebody just said, I don't know, freaking Leon Sandcastle. And they're like, done.
Yeah, like,
Sandcastle.
damn it, Deborah, you did it.
You did it. Like, this is the picture. Whenever I picture him, I always just picture him running the 40 with his tongue out and the mustache. Like, classic.
All right, I'm throwing that in the chat. The nominations are who should win. Well, the award is who should win most likely to catfish this offseason. The nominations are Leonard Fournette, Tyler Huntley, or Tom Brady, aka Tim Brody.
Tim Brody.
Brody.
Just want to say I'm the only one that gave the full story of how they were going to do it. So there's a little bit of backstory built into that one. I just got to imagine.
Tyler
how the
Huntley's
other
already
two are
he's already actively doing it.
gonna do it.
Said he was going to go online and just say, I'm the Ravens quarterback. Went to the Pro
Who
Bowl.
won the last one, JL?
The last one, Brock Purdy won 42% of the vote.
Boo.
Most likely to host a slumber party.
The thing is with Tyler Huntley, if he were to go online and say to somebody, I'm the Pro Bowl quarterback for the Ravens, people would immediately think it's Lamar Jackson, but he's not even lying. He's telling the truth.
He just is. It's just me.
He is.
Yeah.
Is that
All right,
dog fishing? Where you tell the truth, but it's misleading.
When you're actually
It is dog fishing.
you're catfishing a little, but you're actually him. You know, you're just a dog. That's dog fishing.
That's the old Dogfish. I think there's a restaurant near here called Dogfish.
That's what that's what most catfishing people think is going to happen. Like they're going to pretend they're somebody else. And then when they show up, the person will be like, oh, you're not the person you said you were, but you seem like a good enough person anyway. Like in their mind, that's how it's going to work. Even though
I'm in this deep. Might as well
Never.
just date this stranger that lied to me for the last 6 months.
Sunken cost fallacy.
I wonder if that ever does work. If they're just like, all right, come on in.
Oh, I'm sure. There's enough people out there, I'm sure.
Enough human
Right.
experience that's happened already.
You guys want to do one more?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll do 3.
All right. Your next superlative is most annoying NFL announcer. Most annoying NFL announcer.
Ooh, that is most annoying NFL announcer. I don't know. I'm not wildly annoyed by a ton of them. That one's tough for me.
We pick
Dustin
ones.
said-
Can we pick ones that aren't announcers anymore?
Sure.
Okay, then I have mine.
Dustin said, who's the Seahawks GM? He catfished the hell out of the Broncos with Rush. It's like you can catfish somebody else into the position. Is it still catfishing? It sounds like cat puppeting.
Puppeteering. Get you catfish
Yeah.
somebody else.
Unless
Cat
Dustin's saying
choreographing.
that the quarterback that showed up in Denver is in fact not Russell Wilson.
Yeah. All right, do you guys have your announcers?
Yeah, I do.
Go first then.
All right, I'll go first. I'm going to go with Chris Collinsworth. Chris Collinsworth. No disrespect to the man, but sometimes he says things that are borderline entirely sexual, and I don't even think he realizes it. Such as the gems we got. You guys remember earlier in the season, we showed the gem on this show, the clip of him saying, "Ram that right down. He's coming down Eric Dickerson's throat." Yeah. No thanks, Chris Collinsworth.
Now here Jay goes.
I'll
Here's a guy. Yeah, that is him. Chris Collinsworth. Also, there's a couple things that have bugged me with him. I'm not sure you guys ever saw the clip of him talk when he was a player, talking about that he likes girls that are aged like 14 to 18 because it's easier to trick them. That's a literal quote from him. If you guys have never seen that, but the thing that pissed me off about Collinsworth the most is that when I was the first up and coming writer in fantasy football, I was paying for my own Pro Football Focus subscription, and it was $35. He bought the company, and then he changed the way that Pro Football Focus worked. And I got an email from them that was like, "Oh, hey, we'd like to announce that Chris Collinsworth bought the company because there's a new scale of like how much it costs for memberships." I emailed them, and I was like, "Oh, I was paying $35. How much is a new?" Just one single subscription for one person to write. It was $1,000. He bought the company, upped the price to $1,000. So in my writing career, there's like 2 years where I had Pro Football Focus, 1 year where I didn't, and then I got in with Fantasy Alarm where they hooked it up, and then now you can get it for cheaper. But I never forgave him for that. Like he took something that I needed for work and changed it from $35 to $1,000. So Chris Collinsworth,
Follow the money.
Follow the money, dude. He was a jerk.
All right, Simon, who are you going?
This one's tough for me. I feel like I don't have strong negative opinions about a ton of announcers, but I'll go with one where the criticisms that Tony Romo have gotten recently, I'm not saying Romo, just want to get that out of the way here, have been a lot about him like just pumping up the quarterbacks, right? Like he can't shut up about the quarterbacks in these games. But there's an announcer that I feel like does that consistently. It wasn't just one season. Regularly, they're doing that. And that's Troy Aikman. He often gets so just hyper focused on talking about the quarterback during the game that it's hard to even watch the rest of what's going on. We miss plays by other players because he's talking about the quarterbacks. Again, this isn't a strong negative feeling, but if I have to pick one, I'll go with Troy. Sorry, Cowboys fans.
I don't think I have that strong of an opinion either. Yeah. Troy Aikman. And Coop, you went with?
I haven't gone yet. I see a lot of people in the chat mentioning Tony Romo. I still like Romo. There was an announcer for me that
me too.
He just didn't work. And that was, I'm not sure if not sure if many people remember, but at one point on Monday Night Football, they decided to just throw a comedian in the booth, not just to like hang out for a little bit, but call the entire game as the color commentator. That was Dennis Miller. Not sure if you guys remember that period, but it was literally like, there it is, Tommy, dude. Tommy's got it. Dennis Miller. And it was literally like, the normal Al Michaels and Dan Fouts, and then Dennis Miller just in there. And he would just go on these rants. And the thing is, it kind of sounded like what it would look like if you just put a normal person in the booth, a funny person, because he's a good comedian. But like, he would just go on these crazy rants. And like, Al Michaels would reel it in, but Dan Fouts was just like, he would literally be like, what are you talking about? Like, he was just completely confused. It did not work. And it was a nightmare for anyone that remembers it. Yeah, Tommy says was torture. So yeah, if anyone remembers the Dennis Miller experiment, that was a nightmare.
That sounds like a nightmare. I do not remember that experiment.
Nightmare, dude. Nightmare.
Charles in the chat said Romo or Collinsworth, easy. And Nick said Booger. Oh, I just see Simon was
I like
throwing a little redemption arc for Booger.
I like Booger. I think Booger got too much hate.
Yeah, I hate that Jay says Tony Kornheiser because he wasn't good, but I like Tony Kornheiser. Like I like Tony Kornheiser when he pops in on like Sports Center and stuff like that, but he was not good in the booth either. So that makes me sad because I like Tony Kornheiser.
I see Charles in here saying Romo has seriously gone downhill in prep the last few years and does what was just talked about with Aikman. Yeah, I did see that this year. He was definitely doing more of the quarterback hyping up. I'm hoping he gets it together, that Tony Romo pulls it together, because what he did last year was freaking special. The reason I said Aikman and not Romo is because we've seen it from Aikman year after year after year, right? It's the same thing. With Romo, I've seen one great year and one bad year, and I'm hoping next year we're back to that greatness. So Jay said Booger deserves every bit of hate he gets. Where do you guys stand on Booger?
It's fine.
I like him specifically for the memes. Like the Booger Mobile, hilarious. Him pointing out obvious stuff, hilarious. His fingers going every which direction, and he somehow always manages to get them on the camera, where it's like this finger is literally going like this way, that one's going this way. hilarious. Like the more Booger McFarland, the better it is for me as somebody who needs content to tweet out. Do I think he's an amazing analyst? He's fine, but like I want more of that. Like better than he's memorable, right? We're talking about him. There's so many sideline analysts we don't even talk about because it's like who cares?
Yeah.
So give me more Booger. Give me more chaos.
And I think people downplay how difficult of a job that is. It's very difficult. Most people, Jay in the chat saying Booger deserves every bit of hate he gets. I'd love to see Jay give it a go. See how that goes.
You put me in a little thing, a little contraption called the Booger Mobile. I'm not gonna be able to.
Yeah, I'm dead.
I'm dead.
That's it for me.
I'm not gonna be able to handle the hate. You know what I mean? I'm too soft, dude. Booger.
He's just like apologizing to everyone behind him that he's blocking the view.
Booger's cool.
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah. But I know, Simon, you're a give us just a real quick on why you like Booger.
I think he announces with empathy and understanding towards the people that he's announcing about. And I know that sounds like an odd thing to look for, but there seems to be like a genuine care about not just the game, but the players itself whenever he's out there announcing. And it makes it fun to watch. It comes across very genuine whenever he's out there on the field. And yeah, he says obvious stuff and all that, but there's there's a personal aspect to it whenever someone's announcing.
That makes a lot of sense, honestly, because there are some guys, not necessarily announcers, but there are a lot of talking heads that they're not personable at all. They clearly don't. They say things that makes you think they don't care about these guys at all. Like the biggest example would probably be Skip Bayless.
Yep.
He is ruthless, man. He's ruthless to some of these with the things he says. Stephen A. Smith too. Like ruthless, just like this guy can't play. It's like you almost forget that the fact that these guys even made it to this level means they can play. The guys on the guy that's number 53 on the depth chart of any team is one of the best football players in the entire world, right?
Yep, the guy that just got cut is one of the best football players in the entire world. Nah, so I just enjoy. I think Booger's a genuine, very personable whenever hosting. And I enjoy watching him. He makes it a little bit more fun to watch.
Yeah, and Charles in the chat points out Greg Olsen is amazing. Greg Olsen is amazing.
Dude, that's a lot of Greg Olsen love recently.
He's been great though. He
upped his game.
The public perception is turning around. Turn the corner for old Greg.
Yeah.
Old Greg.
So Greg makes it tough for Tom. I wish Tom is the worst thing that could happen for Tom is to have people all of a sudden love Greg Olsen, right?
You mean Tim?
Tim Brody.
Well, Tim Brody's going to be playing. Tom's going to be announcing.
Chris Collinsworth is going to win this award, most annoying NFL announcer. Sorry, Chris. My bad.
Yeah,
my bad. Get roasted.
He should win, though. He should win.
Coop's holding
just
that
for the
grudge.
sexual innuendos.
Holding the grudge,
yeah.
man. Yeah, definitely.
Well done on Superlative. Who should win most annoying NFL announcer? Chris Collinsworth, most likely to catfish in this offseason. Leonard Fournette and Tim Brody tied with 40% each. Who should win most likely to host a slumber party? It's Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy. And who should win least likely to succeed on a new team? It was the tie. Three-way tie between Dalton Schultz, Mike LaFleur, and Kirk Cousins.
Wow, tied on the middle.
Equally, all is likely to fail. Congratulations, everyone. Your awards are in the mail. And by in the mail, I mean in the fax machine. And by in the fax machine, I mean they don't exist. But, I mean, congratulations anyways. Congratulations.
They're coming out.
Coming up, we're going to play a game we call Feeling Lucky Punk. And then we got some pens to sell in a segment called Sell Me This Pen. Right now, you're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Call, chat, and enter contests in real time. It's Sports Talk 3.0 with Better Sports Network. Moose and Keith.
Because I never asked you this. When Noah was growing up, when did Noah first where you got a sense that this is what my son wanted to do?
I was really busy during his formative years. I didn't meet Noah till he was about 19.
Nice. So, your wife did a good job.
Yeah, you may want to talk to your wife. I would say about 13, he started showing a legitimate interest. He started getting curious about how I prepared, what it required. And then I saw a little bit of a shift, 14, 15, where he was concentrating on the on-cameras, the interaction between play-by-play and analyst, and started probably taking mental notes at that point of the performance aspect of, okay, you do all this prep, but you got to go out and deliver it. So yeah, probably that 14, 15 range. I thought to myself, this could be something he really wants to do.
Front Yard Fantasy, weekday mornings at 7 Eastern on Better Sports Network.
You don't need to be like right 100% of the time.
No, there was a tweet about the refs that had me kind of cracking up the other day because somebody was like, we have the technology to like, you know, track the ball down to a centimeter and figure out, you know, what speed these guys are running on the field. Yet somehow we still mark the ball by
That's my favorite.
a 60-year-old dude eyeballing it, and then we run over with literal chains and measure it. It's like, you know, you think we could probably get that figured out.
The least precise way to measure something, and then like immediately following that up with a super precise way of measuring something.
Yeah, it's like we have
what I love.
satellite.
Like if you're a millimeter short of that chain that they bring out there, that they ran out it as best they could in a straight line. But if you like, first they just go here, and then they grab the chains and they run in the straightest line possible. But then if you are 1 millimeter short with that football, it doesn't count. Sorry, couldn't have been human error. You're just short.
That's exactly. And, you know, they bring out the index card or whatever. Meanwhile, they have like, you know, satellites in space tracking how fast Brandon Ayuk ran on an end around. But we can't.
And
you know.
I can see that number live while he's doing it. Like I can see every player's speed on the screen live.
And I love that. It's like, yeah, and not to mention like that dude's trying to make the spot, and the player always tosses the ball like right into his face, right? Like he's coming over to spot it, and it's like every other time the player's just like, here you go, here's another thing to juggle.
Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray, presented by FantasyGuru.com.
Is it me, Ray, or is the only publicity that Microsoft Surface has gotten out of their whole thing on the sideline is people throwing them to the ground in anger? Like, is that just a me thing? Or the only time I hear about this device, Ray, is when somebody is chucking it on the ground, just pissed off at it, which I get it. All of us are in that world. We love to do that. Only in the NFL, Ray, can they get away with it because these are free. There's no cost. It's part of the sponsorship. Here's 5,000 Microsoft tablets to get you through the NFL season, and these players, Ray, just slamming them down. It's like they become Gilbert on the sideline, and they're so frustrated. They're just like the only publicity this company and this product has gotten is negative.
Better Sports Network. It's sports talk done better.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. JL,
Simon,
I got a question for you. You got that T. Higgins jersey behind you. Why T? Of all players to have behind you, what about T. Higgins?
I love him.
That spot on your wall. It's your love for him?
It's my love for him.
It's your love for him over the likes of Travis Etienne?
Yeah, I would say they're similar.
Similar?
Yeah.
T just found his way to your wall?
Yeah.
Gotcha. I wasn't sure if you were hiding anything behind it and the T. Higgins jersey was code or something.
No. It's Clemson jersey.
Believable story.
Nice sign by T.
I'll prod more later. But right now, we're about to get into a game we're calling Feeling Lucky Punk.
Feeling Lucky Punk.
Are you feeling lucky, Punk, Coop?
No.
Not at all. Well, good thing we're about to play. Coop and I are going to go head-to-head. Jail's going to run this game. How it's going to work is we are competing head-to-head in a game. We're going to be bidding on different challenges. They may be name a certain number of this player, do a specific thing. Last week, I had to, on the spot, drop players from my dynasty team. Jail will propose a challenge, something like, how many of the top 12 PPR wide receivers from last season can you name? Coop and I will bid against each other, saying the number that we think we can get to. If we have the highest bid, we then got to put our money where our mouth is and do said challenge. Get it right, you are going to get all of those points, the number that you said. But if you mess up, you are unable to complete what you said you were going to be able to do, your opponent will get those points. Now, after you have hit the number that you said you were going to hit, you can choose to keep pushing your luck if you want to. But get one of those wrong, and those points will go to your opponent. Like you said, they'll be worth double for you every single one over that you go. You ready to get into it?
Oh, yeah. All right. You guys ready to get into your first one?
Let's do it. And I'm going to close the chat. So everybody in the chat, play along with us. Whether you're in the YouTube chat over on Front Yard Fantasy or in the BSN chat, throw your answers in
Love
there.
it.
play along. I can't see him now.
He can't see him now, but I can, and that's all that matters. I am the host of this game. Coop and Simon are virulent contestants today. I don't know what that. I'm afraid I just said something bad. I don't know. I regret that. Take that out. Keith, edit that. The first prompt for you guys, first challenge prompt is, how many of the top 15 tight ends PPR in 2022 can you name? Coop, you are starting the bidding this time. You don't say your name, you just bid.
So how many of the top
15 PPR tight ends can you name?
10
in 2022.
10.
Coop starting the bid off high with 10 of 15. He thinks he can name. Simon, are you going to up the bid?
Here's the deal. I like whatever Coop says, I think he can get. Like I really do think if there's one field, like if this is wide receivers or quarterbacks, I think give him a couple strikes, he could get it. But with tight ends, I really think Coop can just rattle down from the top. So I'm tempted to just try to outbid him, even though I'm not positive I can do it. I'll say 11.
11. Coop, would
12.
you like to raise the bid? 12?
And I'll let you do 13 if you want to do 13. 13's great.
12. Simon, what would you like to do?
Let's let the tight end guy name 12 of the top 15 tight ends.
This is tough.
Okay, 12 of the top 15. Coop, go ahead and get started, and do not miss a single one. They don't have to be in order. It's just to be in the top 15. You can't miss a single one, or else Simon's going to get all 12 of your points.
Okay. Give me Travis Kelce.
Travis Kelce is correct at number 1.
Give me TJ Hawkinson.
Hawkinson is also correct at number 2.
Give me
200 and Kelce at 316.3 fantasy points this season, while TJ Hawkinson at 215.4.
Give me Mark Andrews.
Mark Andrews is number 4.
Give me Evan Ingram.
Evan Ingram's number 5.
Give me Taysom Hill.
Can't hear you. What'd you say?
Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill is correct at number 9.
Gross.
Coop, you have 5 correct out of 12.
Give me Mr. George Kittle.
George Kittle is number 3, bringing you up to 6.
I just assumed you had Kittle already.
No, I forgot.
Dustin said, I love this
So
game.
I have Kelsey Hawk, Kittle,
It's a fun one.
Andrews, Ingram. Give me Tyler Higbee.
Tyler Higbee.
Picking up
Number
Royce at a
6.
church. Number 6, right? That's so stupid.
I lost all my pens. They're all gone.
Give me.
Let's check your butt.
A Sharpie.
Found it. How'd that get in there?
Give me Cole Kmet.
Thursday.
Cole Kmet is number 8.
Give me.
What you got?
He missed some games. Give me Gerald Everett.
Gerald Everett is correct at number 13, 139.
How many is that?
That is 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. 9 out of 12.
9 out of 12.
You need 10. No, 3 more. I almost said you need 10 more, but that's not how math works.
That's not how maths. Give me Dalton Schultz.
Dalton Schultz, number 10 on this list.
That was the one I had written down that you hadn't gotten yet. Now all my names that are written down are all gone. I could venture some more guesses out there, but every other guess I have, there's like some nerves behind it.
Right, because
Friendly reminder: throw your guesses in the chat. The contestants can't see it, so you won't help Coop. We'll praise you if you get it right.
This guy missed some games, but I think he still is cracking this list. Dallas Goedert.
Dallas Goedert is number 12.
Got him.
I wasn't sure about him.
What number was
one more, Coop?
What number was Cole Kmet?
But I thought he needed 2 more.
He has 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 9, 10, 11. One more.
Oh man.
One more time.
I've got a name in my head that I would say, and it's the one I'm most unsure about, but it's the next name that I would throw out there, but I don't think it's on the list.
Yeah.
What's it going to be, Coop?
I'm going to take 1 second here because I've been going pretty quick. I just want to make sure I get this last one.
Debatable.
I've been going pretty fast.
What's it gonna be?
A second, would you?
Talk to us.
So I know that he was near the top of the league in touchdowns. Juwan Johnson was, but I don't know if that was enough to crack this list. In terms of targets, there was some guys that should slide in there. Give me Juwan Johnson.
Juwan Johnson
That's the name I was thinking, Coop.
is number 15, Coop.
Nice.
Scooted in there with 12. Coop, you can choose to stop now and you will get all 12 of your points. Or you can try and take some shots at the remaining 3 tight ends in the top 15 list for double the points. If you get one wrong, though, all of your accumulated points up to this point in this round are going to go to Simon. So what would you like to do here? I
honestly just want to try and name them all.
That is your prerogative.
But I'm gonna bank the points and then just try and name a couple for funsies, if that's okay.
All right, you are going to choose to stop here, giving you 12 points. Yeah, go ahead.
It was the other one.
Dawson Knox.
Dawson Knox is number 14.
Okay. And then also
there are 2 remaining.
That's the end of my list. That's all I got.
The other one I just had on the tip of my tongue, but I know I forgot what it was.
The chat got it. The chat came in with Dustin. He said, "Did he say Freiermuth?"
The Muth.
Name also did he say Muth? And he was number 7.
Number 7, but so then I missed number 8. Did I miss number 8 on the list?
No, number 8 was Cole Kmet. You missed number 11, which was David Njoku.
David Njoku. Man,
I thought he missed too much time and had bad. What threw me off with, and the reason I was kind of scared about Goddard too, is they both missed time and then had terrible matchups down the stretch. But they accumulated enough points early on to hang on.
Yeah. Well done, Coop. That's going to give you 12 points and get you off to a nice lead here. Charles in the chat said Coop is the tight end whisperer.
Simon, if you said 13, I would have said 14 for the record.
Would you have?
100%. I was going to play. Bro. If you had said 15,
15 just to like say I'm doing this, I'm going to try it.
If you had said 15, I would have said 16. Can we establish that
you cannot? If he bids the max, if it has a top boundary and he bids the max, then he gets that.
But technically there are more than 16 titles.
There are more than 16.
We could have gone to like 40.
When the list is 15.
Okay, so if the list is well, it's good that we know that rule now. So now if you think you know them all and you want to do it, you can just come out first guess and say 15. I mean,
I didn't know that had to be established as a rule because when the list was, you could say 16. No, you know what? It's not even a rule. If JL says how many of the top 15 tight ends can you name
15.
and you want to say 16, Coop, go ahead.
Those
points are all going to me, all 16 of them, because it's impossible.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying. All right, so it's capped at 15. Now it's been fully established.
No, that one was only capped at 15 because it was the top 15. That was in the prompt
that
he gave us.
Exactly.
Right. So if he says top 20, it's capped at 20.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, cool.
All right, guys. Well done. Our next challenge prompt here is: how many of the Smithsonian Institute museums can you name? The Smithsonian Institute is a very popular museum. Institute. DC, tons of museums.
And I'm making the first
you are making the first bid on this one.
1.
I can name
1.
Give me 2.
2? Yeah. All right, 2. 3.
They have to do the Smithsonian. I'll say 4.
4. Simon.
I only know 2. I was going to guess on 3, so I'm going to stop here.
Okay.
So you stop at 4.
Yeah. No,
right.
I'm stopping.
You didn't go. Yeah, Coop's going to name 4. All right, Coop.
Coop's going to name 1, 2.
So I'm going to name museums and that I know, and I just have to hope that they're owned by Smithsonian Group.
Yeah. Smithsonian Institution. Yep.
So I want to say so in DC, the Air and Space Museum, is that a Smithsonian museum?
The National Air and Space Museum is a Smithsonian museum, so that is one, Coop.
Okay. I'm going to say also believe that in Boston, the Museum of Science is a Smithsonian museum.
Which one is it?
The Boston Museum of Science.
The Boston Museum of Science is incorrect.
Oh, it's not Smithsonian.
That is not a Smithsonian museum.
Well, I guess I'm out then already. Which one? What were the two that you knew, Simon?
It was going to be the aviation, like you said, and then the Museum of Natural History. The Smithsonian Museum of Natural History was going to be the other one.
That was going to be my next one.
Natural history would have been acceptable. American history, the National Museum of American History, National Museum of African Art, National Museum of Asian Art, some other big ones. National Museum of African American History.
I would have got
amazing museum if you haven't gone to it. The zoo, Smithsonian Zoo.
If the Museum of Science was one, then I would have probably got 4.
Well, sucks to suck, and thanks for the points.
Yeah, so Simon, you were going to get all of 4 of these points here because Coop was not able to correctly guess the 4 that he bid up to.
Dang.
Good try. It's a good try.
Boston. Everyone's making fun of the way I said Boston.
12. Who?
The chat is making fun of the way I said Boston. Bosstown.
Bosstown. I don't know. And Dustin said, and American Art. Well, yeah, that one as well. There's a bunch of them. Fortunately, Coop, you're not going to get these points. So let's get on to our next challenge prompt.
I don't say Boston weird, Charles.
Yeah, Charles.
Reminder, play along in the chat. Throw your answers in there.
Yeah, we love it. All right, guys. The next challenge prompt. How many relatives are you willing to text the following message to right now? Hogs up. Let's ride. Mr. Unlimited. Yeehaw. Wouldn't you agree? So how many relatives are you willing to text that message to?
Individually or in a group chat?
Individually.
Individually. I have to send it individually to all. And can you read the message for me one more time?
I absolutely can. It was hogs up. Let's ride. Mr. Unlimited. Yeehaw. Wouldn't you agree?
Okay. And Coop has the first bid?
Coop is starting our bidding round here. Coop.
I'll start the bidding with 1.
1.
4.
4.
Oh my God. Now, here's the thing is that I'll do 5.
5. Simon, would you like to bid him up?
He's going to do it. I'm just thinking, how many relatives do I want to bug at 8:37 in the morning?
5 is easy. 5 is easy for me.
I'll let him do it.
Okay.
I'll let him do it.
What am I typing?
I just put it in the chat for you, Coop, so you can copy paste. Well, I don't know if you're
I'm gonna copy and paste.
You can at least see it and type it out. All right, so Coop, what relatives are you texting this to?
This is easy.
You don't have to dox them, but you can tell us their relation at least.
The first 2, at least, shout out Auntie Coop. She watches just about every morning, so Auntie Coop will understand right away what's going on here. And my dad also watches fairly often, right? After that, I could just text my wife, right? That counts, right?
That is a fam. Yeah, you know what? Yeah. That counts. That counts.
Because we're actually married. So then then it just has to be my sister and my brother-in-law. I could text my mom too. So I was willing to go to 7, but I would have to figure out who 7 was going to be. But I would have gone there probably because I want those points. I want to win. So I will now send text to. I will now confuse most of my family early in the morning.
There you go. So you said 4 or 5?
5. Yeah. So that's. Do I have to send all
let know when it's
do I have to send all the D's and E's too?
Yes.
Yep.
And all that. This is such a stupid text. How long do I have to wait until I tell them why I did that?
Never.
At least till noon.
Okay.
You just have to let it sit. You have to let it marinate.
Yeah, let them sit in it. Jolly Rancher in the chat. Mama Grunewald said, "Me, big me."
Do I have to send you?
If I would have won, I would have sent it to you, Mom. Okay. But I didn't win. Coop outshamed me on this one.
Outshamed. All right, Coop. Yeah, you got it locked up.
Yeah. No, I've only sent it to Tony Coop so far. Hold on.
All right. While you're doing that, we will go into our next prompt here. Tell me, how many of the highest paid NFL players during the 2022 season, how many of the top 10 highest paid NFL players during the 2022 season can you name? This is by single season salary, by the way. I believe
Sorry,
is
what
the
was the
metric
question?
here.
All right, here you go.
All five?
Yeah, you can see top. Can you?
We trust you.
We believe you.
Yeah.
We got him sent.
Perfect. No responses yet. I'll let you know what the responses are when they come in.
Yes, please do. All right, so this one is how many of the top 10 highest paid NFL players during the 2022 season can you name?
My first?
And I have the first bid here.
You have the first bid.
I believe. Top 10 highest paid NFL players during the 2022 NFL season. 4.
Dude, I'm going to let you go before because
I don't even feel confident in that.
I
feel pretty non-confident about that.
I feel very confident about 2.
I feel confident about 1 and 1 only. Like, and then after that,
I was thinking about it. I'm like, I don't know, man. So I am going to let you go with 4. I would have gone.
I think there's some weird ones in there, which is what's throwing me off. I got 4. I'm going to play JL. Not that I had a choice because I bid that number. I made my bed whenever I said 4 out loud. I really thought I tried to go low enough that Coop would do 1 higher, but high enough where I thought that number would screw him. Know what I mean? Like I didn't think he could do 5, but I thought it was high enough that it would tempt him into taking it. Patrick Mahomes, number 1.
Patrick Mahomes is number 4 on this list, Simon.
Okay. Sorry. Patrick Mahomes. I didn't mean number 1 overall, but he's on that list.
Yep. You got that right.
Now I got to think about who else is on that list. Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson is number 9 on this list.
Ooh, snuck in there. With
That's
Russell
2
Wilson.
out of your 4, Simon. You just need to name 2 more and you're going to get these points.
What was the first one again?
Patrick Mahomes was the first one I said.
Sorry, I'm anxiously looking at my text messages, hoping that they don't.
Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson. I got to think of someone. Do I want to go more quarterbacks? Are these defensive players that are getting paid the highest in the league? It's probably quarterbacks and edge rushers is probably who these people are going to be. Did you think about it that way, JL?
I had, but I didn't want to bring it up.
You didn't want to bring it up, though. Typical not wanting to bring that up.
What do you think, Simon?
Highest played players in the league. I don't know. Aaron Donald.
Aaron Donald is incorrect.
Damn it. Is it all quarterbacks?
It is all quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. Coop is going to get these 4 points.
Is Dak Prescott on the list?
The list. Let's see. We got some guesses here in the chat. We got Nick in here. Nick DiNuccio said Josh Allen, Cousins, Aaron Donald. Josh Allen would be correct. And Kirk Cousins is number 10. So Kirk Cousins is also correct. Aaron Donald, unfortunately not. Charles said, or Trenton said Watson. Charles said Watson didn't make jack in 2022. Watson is on this list. He's number 3, 46 million. You guys paid last year.
Because that was what put my mind in a pretzel in the beginning because I was like, Watson should be on the list, but then I remembered that they made his base salary super low in case
it was. But I think this includes signing bonuses, and I think that it came in the form of a signing bonus this year, if I'm not mistaken. And then like base was 1 million.
That makes sense. And then let's see. So the top of the list is Aaron Rodgers, 50.3 million.
I'm such an idiot.
Followed by Kyler Murray, 46.1 million.
Stupid buffoon.
Then Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, followed by Derek Carr, 40.5 million, Dak Prescott, 40 million, and Matthew Stafford, 40 million.
I thought every single one of those quarterback names, and I was like, no, we're going to say Aaron Donald instead. Like, we know this is all quarterbacks, but we're going to say Aaron Donald instead. You dingbats.
Quick update. I have received 1 text message back. My sister.
Ani Coop?
No, not Ani Coop. Ani Coop shows up as red. So she has seen it, but she has not said anything.
She's like, what the hell?
My sister texted me back and she said, "Was that meant for me?" Because I just
Reply yes.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes, question mark.
Who else would it be for?
Yeah.
Yes, question mark is so much better.
Yes, question like yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, you don't get to control the rest of my text messages. I'm just gonna
Come
leave.
on.
I'm just gonna leave it for now.
All right.
Uh,
No fun, Coop. All right. Coop, you're gonna win this game.
let's go, dude. These games have been. There's been no close games of this yet, have there? It's like
21-4.
first one was a blowout, and then the second one, Simon crushed me, and then this one, another one. This game it can get out of hand.
It's brutal.
It can get out of hand. Guys, coming up, we are going to play some Sell Me This Pen. We got to sell each other on things that we don't even know what we're going to be selling as we head into it. But right now, you're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Better Sports Network is sponsored by Lucra.
Now being joined by Dylan Robbins, the CEO of Lucra.
Lucra is a unique new platform, but it really has a basis and a very simple idea is that we think that people want to bet with their friends, right? Our product is built off the fact that the casual fan is at the bar or at their buddy's house and they're putting $5 on the game and they're doing it on Venmo. And I think that there's a huge opportunity to open the market up to all these casual fans. A lot of people who feel boxed out by the traditional sports books because they're too complicated or there's complex jargon. They don't understand the lines or the spreads. And so Lucra's goal is to just make it simple. And our favorite way of doing that is we just connect you directly with your friends. So it's a social platform. It's peer-to-peer. We're not the house. We don't take any risk on these wagers. We just are a marketplace to kind of connect you with your friends directly to engage. So it started as just a business for sports. We've expanded outside of sports now. We offer 150 recreational games from cornhole to beer pong to darts to Weddle. To Peloton, you name it, you can challenge your friends now on Lucra, and you've got all the gaming and tracking and stats and leaderboards to go with it to make it fun. So it's a bit about what we do, and excited to chat with you guys about it today.
What's the future growth of Lucra?
Good question. I think for us, it's really the expansion outside of sports. I think that we've proven that sports is a great model. We've got a ton of great customers who love our sports product, but we're really paving the way or really innovating on this recreational game side of our business as we think about all these unique categories and areas where people are competing, spike ball, pickleball, all these things that are blowing up across the globe right now. Lucra is the first real way where people can bet with their friends on these games. And so we're getting a lot of new customers from that, a lot of brand awareness from that. And I think we're just trying to iterate that product, make it more fun, make it easier. But we're going to keep our ethos the same, casual, social, and fun. That's what Lucra's about. Our average contest is $10. This is not about bankrupting your friends. It's not about winning big and paying your rent. It's about the magic of the moment and making that moment better by having $5 on the line. If you ever played a round of golf on Sunday or watched a football game, you guys get it. You put a few bucks on it. It just changes the way you interact with that game. You watch it longer. You spend more money there. And it gives us a lot of time for us to, an opportunity for us to partner with other brands because of that.
Better Sports Network is sponsored by Lucra. Winning is fun, and beating your friends is even better. Download the Lucra app today to challenge your friends and win money.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. It's in the game. And JL, I thought you were frozen like that, but you just wow, look at that talent right there. The talent on a Monday morning. No hands, incredible. Well, JL,
Really cool.
we're about to find out how incredible our sales skills are. We're going to sell some pens here at the end of the show today. But it's not just pens. How this game works is we've got a series of things that our hosts have to take turns coming up with a sales pitch for. So you'll be given your prompt moments before you then have to make a sales pitch for that prompt. You guys ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Yeah. My dad texted me back. He said, funny.
Triton in the chat said just respond with a pig emoji to everybody that responds to you.
Yes.
My dad seems to know that something is going on, but he's seen enough of
Something
it.
is afoot.
he's seen the show enough times. He knows that it's nonsense related to this, I imagine.
All right. Simon, you bid first in the last one, so I think Coop's going to go first on this one. Coop, you ready for your prompt here?
Sure.
All right, Coop, sell me on switching all of my leagues to non-PPR.
Excuse me?
Sell me on switching all of my leagues to non-PPR scoring format.
Standard.
Also
format?
known as standard, colloquially called.
Watch your
standard.
language, Dale. This is a family show.
Colloquial.
Look, gang. Let's think about. Please, no one clip this. I'm gonna just like add I'm gonna add watermarks throughout my whole spiel here to make sure nobody can clip it. And
Sounds
just,
like a pretty bad sales pitch, then.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm saying. When you're an NFL team, right, and you're a coach of a team, what do you care about? What matters most? We're talking about first downs. We're talking about touchdowns. We're talking about moving the football. That's what matters in real life football, right? 3rd and 1, getting that 1 yard, that's a good football play. A 1 yard rush, that's an important play. That yard matters. It should be worth points, right? Touchdowns, obviously are worth points. Field goals, obviously are worth points. If I'm coaching a football game and I call a screen and the ball gets thrown to that player and he gets tackled 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage, how valuable is that play? How many points should be given for that play? How much applause should we give for that amazing play that lost 2 yards? If you play half PPR, you're getting a positive 0.3 points. If you play full PPR, you're getting positive 0.7 points or 0.8 points if it's 2 yards. Like, it's a ridiculous setup for football. We're applauding at times plays that go for negative yards. Catching the ball behind the line of scrimmage and getting duffed, that's a positive play. That's going to be points. Absurd. Switch all your leagues over to standard. Have points for things that matter. You know what? Have points for first downs. Those matter. Negative receptions, ridiculous. Get it out of here. You don't need it.
Dame said, Coop sold me on going back to sleep.
Wake
Nailed
up, Dame. West Coast. Those. Hey, applause. Applause, Dame.
Oh, yeah.
651, where Dame lives, I believe. Cheers. Thank you for joining us.
The goat,
Sold me
Dame.
on going back to sleep. How dare you?
Well done, Coop.
You made some convincing arguments. You know what? I expected to just immediately say bonk, but you made a fair point.
You made some of the arguments of all time.
They're out there. Standard is not a format that I don't have any standard leagues left, but that's because I like points and I like fun. But I can understand why some people would be like, would have the argument that I just made.
Coop makes a sell pitch, and as he's walking out the door, he's like, can't believe those idiots bought that.
Yeah. Oh, is my mic on?
All right. Well done, Simon. You ready for your prompt?
Yes.
All right. Sell me on making the Super Bowl a 7-game series.
Look, when we think about epic sporting events, whenever we think about the events that live in infamy, we think about LeBron James and the Cavaliers coming down from a 3-1 deficit against the Golden State Warriors to bring home the title. We think about the Great Bambino curse being broken in unbelievable fashion as they made it to a World Series after being 3-1 down
If he exists.
in the Conference Championship Series. If Babe Ruth even exists, that curse was broken. We think about the hockey series in the Olympics, the U.S. team coming out victorious. We think about these crazy sporting events that have multiple games that would have been robbed from us if we didn't have a full 7-game series. We wouldn't even be talking about the block, LeBron James running from behind, smashing it in Game 7 to win the game in a way that's never been done before because the Warriors won Game 1. It's done. Game over. Anymore. In football, imagine the stories. Imagine the ends of the seasons that we could have had if we weren't robbed of those experiences. They keep adding games to the regular season. They're doing it wrong. Take a game or two off the regular season and make these playoff series a little bit longer. Wild card round, 1-game series. Divisional round, we're talking a 3-game series. Then you get to the Super Bowl, 7 games. Give us that opportunity for the 3-1 comeback. Give us the opportunity for Gardner Minshew to step in the playoffs in Game 7 and win that improbable victory against the Kansas City Chiefs. We're being robbed of sports memories by only having one game in the Super Bowl.
Beautiful, Simon. Coop, are you convinced?
I mean, dude, that was a amazing argument for what is inherently a ridiculously terrible idea. So
well said.
Say,
Well said.
You did great there. You did great. But I just imagine just how absurd that would be.
There's 3 players left on each team by the time
everybody's hurt.
The Game 7.
Just imagine the bounties, like Greg Williams with Bountygate. If the speeches before, it's like, if we just hurt their quarterback in the first game, all we have to do is win a couple of the just
tie his shoes together.
Go for his ankle in game 1, and we'll win the rest of the games. It'll be easy.
Trent in the chat said, "LOL, good luck." By the end, it's gonna just be the practice squad. Yeah, be pretty cool though. Super Bowl being decided by the practice squad.
I don't know what we saw in the conference championship game from the 49ers.
It was not
football
so good.
becomes a little bit less fun to watch when you get down to your 4th string quarterback.
Like let's really talk about this idea. How close together are the games going to be? Or are we going to play this over
every day?
The Super Bowl is going to be 2 months long, or you play it every day?
Every day for a week.
If you had to give them a week in between,
Sunday to Sunday,
the Super Bowl would be 2 months long.
Nick is just have a good day, fellas. Have a good day, Nick. Great to see you, my friend.
Good to see you, brother. Thanks for popping in. Super Bowl week, baby. Let's go. Get fired
Super Bowl
up.
season is what it would be. Like, this is Super Bowl winter.
We're deep in the Super Bowl. The playoffs would be crazy long. Dude.
They would.
Especially if you
go into April.
Yeah, especially if you had to play the 5 games. You also proposed a 5-game series before, which means that some teams would only play 3 games. Some teams could play as many as 5.
Just so we're clear, I did say a 3-game series before. Wild card is a single game, a play-in, then 3 and 3, and then 7.
So the division and the conference are both
division and conference.
I thought you meant 1, 3, 5, 7.
And just so we're clear, I believe none of this. That would be really detrimental to player safety, which is a top priority. But it would be fun. It would be fun. I do believe a 7-game series is fun.
You sold me, Simon. And Dame said all 7 in one day.
Yeah. Be a big day. Be a jamboree.
What if it was like, if you lost a certain percentage of players, you were out and replaced by the next team up? Like, it wasn't just a game of winning with points. It was a game of attrition as well. Like, you had to get to 4 wins before you ran out of players. And your opponent could be replaced over and over.
That'd be wild.
Now you're talking serious bounties.
Now you're thinking.
We're getting there.
Now you're thinking Tanya Harding style.
Roger Goodell, take some notes. And Charles said players going to be on stretchers with Gatorade being put through IV.
Oh, it sounds so good. So hydrated.
IV. Guys, that is going to be it for us today. I want to thank everybody who came in and hung out with us bright and early on this Monday morning. We appreciate it each and every single day. We'll be back tomorrow morning from 7 to 10 Eastern time for some more Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show fun. Until then, though, we are out of here. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Get ready for that Super Bowl. Go buy your dip ingredients now. That way you're not doing it on Sunday. Adios, everyone.
Bye-bye.